third of the people that raise their hands, and I say, how many people came in from out of Clearwater? Majority of people raising their hands. So to me, that's great. It's really great that people come in outside of Clearwater to see this, because it's got such a history. I think we can build up again the attendance of Clearwater, get up into those numbers. But I can tell you, probably all of us are looking at how to cut budgets, because, I mean, we've been doing that for a couple of years, and we've got some hard decisions really to make. You know, I got with you a couple of months ago and said, why can't we just make it a 3-day event? Would that help? Would maybe not be so expensive to put it on. I think maybe that would be a way to, you wouldn't have to ask for as much funding from the DEP and from the city of Clearwater. But you told me then that you had to have the 4-day event in order to make things break even. I'm gonna wait and listen to what everybody else says. I think right now I am going to probably be thinking that I would probably give you more than what's recommended, but I don't know if I can give you the whole amount. And I'd like to see a multi-year benefit for you. I think would be great, because then you know what to count on. As soon as the event's on, you know what you're gonna get for the next year. I'll sit back and let other council members speak.
The requested allocation of $148,000 for 3 years, followed by $158 for the 4th year. That would represent approximately 40% of the DEP's net annual ad valorem revenue. That is an extraordinary percentage of the board's available funding to dedicate to a single applicant for approximately 5 days of programming. That leaves our resources, a lot less resources for us to program the other rest of the year and all the other initiatives. My concern is not the value or legacy of the Jazz Festival itself, which I believe is meaningful and appreciated by many in our community. Rather, it is a responsibility we have to ensure that the DEP resources are distributed in a manner that supports the broader downtown ecosystem. Multiple initiatives and year-round activation needs and efforts. So while I deeply cherish the Clearwater Jazz Festival and all that it has meant to Clearwater over so many years, and while I have personally always enjoyed attending and supporting the event, I can't justify this level of funding request from this board. For that reason, and with sincere respect for the organization and its contributions to Clearwater, I'm unable to support the request at the proposed funding level, but I'm open for discussion for something else that would work.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Steve, for the presentation, and thank you for 46 great years of a legacy event in our city. Again, I've said it before, born and raised in Clearwater, and we used to come down to downtown Clearwater only 2 times a year. And that was Jazz Holiday and 4th of July. And a lot of ups and downs. Anything can ruin the attendance of an event. It's a lack of a consistent date and location. Looking back at kind of our path that brought us here since 2020, Jazz Holidays taken a pretty rough path from the pandemic to, it's like we were moved and displaced during our Imagine Clearwater construction, which doesn't help. It rolled into cancellations due to hurricanes in 24. 25, we finally started getting back on the map, and I think my memory plays correct. I think Sunday was even a pretty rainy day that might have affected some of the numbers. I do appreciate council members sharing pre-COVID numbers, because that's what I do remember. Blankets and people all over the place enjoying the weekend and Jazz Holiday, again, because it's meant so much to the community, far greater than just any event. I hope I hope that we can kind of look at this not through just a lens of scrutinizing 1 year of numbers because they are low. We treated Ruth Eckerd Hall the very same way when we first opened the Sound in the first year. And we were all very critical of numbers and data and meeting the metrics. And what we realized is TIME of consistency and support is truly what was needed to make it succeed. I don't think anybody in the room or on this dais would question the numbers and what just 3 short years did to a venue that's become so successful. I do hope that the board can find a comfortable place to get behind and continue to support you. I do know a multi-year agreement probably makes staff's life a little bit easier as well as the organization for consistency, planning, and efficiency of running your operations. I'm supportive of maybe 4 is a lot because if we're not successful through year 2 and 3, we kind of know, and not being stuck for a 4th year, although 50th year celebration is a heck of a milestone to celebrate. Whether that number is somewhere in that 3-year range, so we can figure out, is there an out at year 2 if our numbers don't hit where we need them to be in those discussions with staff? Possibly, but I think we don't just owe it to you, I think we owe it to our community and the foundation and the traditions that Jazz Holiday has meant to the community to try to bring some consistency back and give you that support. I mean, I would assume, being in the special events industry, your tickets are probably going on sale very soon, are they not?
Probably 2 weeks. We're trying to announce by our June 10th, CJH presents event day, and that'll be on sale.
Which is right around the corner and kind of hard to make. I mean, there's discussions of 30,000 recommendations to a $140,000 ask. Those are pretty drastic. I don't know how an event can operate with that margin and not knowing. I'm supportive of the ask and what we can do with it and give it consistency. Whether the board finds comfort in 2 or 3 multi-years so we can see what we can build it up. I mean, after all, it's not the Jazz Holiday, it is the Clearwater Jazz Holiday. It means a lot to me. I want to be supportive and try to give you that consistency. We'll see what direction the board decides to go. I look forward to hopefully seeing it grow, getting your numbers back to the community where it was, where we know it all can be, and really truly celebrating a great 50th down the road.
If we go back, I think only 3, maybe only 2 years. I myself attended one of your events. We always appreciate, we always work with businesses and the entire community in downtown Clearwater and help. We appreciate that. Obviously, love Clearwater Jazz Holiday. My only concern comparing to last year is that from the merchant's perspective who own brick and mortar businesses in downtown, I was there myself the entire venue, and we were all very excited. Expectations were very high, but unfortunately the results for us, at least, were not there. I think the only time that we got any people was when it started raining outside and it had to pause for a certain period of time, and then we got the people into our businesses, and all businesses were full. 10,500 people. When we look at it right now, it's just over 1,000 people of a fully sold sound event, and that only happens one day. I think the attendance was a little low, and not having the re-entry, I think my opinion was it kind of hurt businesses in downtown, because I can tell you that we were prepared for 4 days, full staff, and we had to send people home because we didn't get people that we expected from the event. So mainly that's my concern. And are you planning on doing a re-entry this time, or?
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I do think that the introduction of the work we've done with the city this year on the free and open components. The side stages in the lower plaza and on the pier and the free left viewing areas don't require a ticket. And so what I think you'll see is more people coming earlier in the day to Jazz Holiday, and they won't be restricted by a limitation where they can't go back and forth through the downtown corridor and the festival footprint. And so I think that that will make a noticeable difference on the issue that you're talking about, for sure. No, absolutely. Would it be helpful or appropriate, because there were a number of different comments that were raised from 4 days to 3 days to attendance metrics. I have some notes that may be helpful on those points that were raised by different people. Is it okay for me to address those points?
I do have one question,
Okay.
just the following question on that. So the ticketed attendees are no re-entry, but that's what I'm hearing, I guess.
The ticket, and that's, it's been that way for as far back as I can remember for any of the Jazz Holiday events, and it's the most effective way of us managing an event of this scale. We're open to exploring different ideas, but from a management safety standpoint, for sure with the green and the ticketed items. And that's true also for large scale events like that happen at the Sound as well, from my understanding. But I'm open to talking with our event folks and the downtown businesses, not only on that issue, but also how we can work together and maybe help the businesses with more of a presence at the festival downtown.
I believe that the country under was one re-entry, I'm not mistaken. That was a big event. No, thank you for answering. I mean, we always appreciate your support. We know that you always work very closely with the community, and we value what Jazz Holiday always. And these are the concerns that I have, so, and thank you for answering.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. I think you're amazing. I think what you do every year is absolutely incredible. I think the word Jazz Holiday is one of the most important holiday events of the year. From where I stand, I do wanna, but remind me, what was the last year funding request and how much money was?
So the last several years have been at $125,000
And then from DDB, that's all
from the DDB,
from the
from the
DDB.
DDB.
And then how much was it for last year?
125,000 was last year, and then the request this year, as we talked about, the 4-year agreement has been $140,000 for years 1, 2, and 3 of that agreement, and $150,000 for year 4 of the agreement, which would be our 50th anniversary. And a big part of the increase from 125,000 to 140,000 are some of the points that I mentioned as part of my presentation. Increased costs of production generally, but also for the first time, we are beginning to now absorb some of the costs that the city has traditionally provided as in-kind support. And then we're converting to a public benefit these ticketed areas out around the green into free. So we've been, to be more specific, we've estimated about $15,000 worth of ticket revenue that we would charge to the free components that we're not now, as we work with the city on that issue. So those two factors, the additional costs that we're absorbing, the ticket revenue that is being reduced from our budget mid-year, we're asking the DEP for more money. And that's the difference between the 125,000 and the 140,000 asked for year 1.
Well, I'm definitely open to support more funding that implement stuff for $30,000. I'm ready to go into multi-year agreement with 140,000 every year because I do want to maintain some sort of control over the funding. But I'm definitely willing to support you, I'm willing to talk and find a compromise between the board members and give you as much as we possibly can.
Thank you. I have some, is it?
Let me make comments. Sure. And some questions. First, let me say that I'm like, whoever was up here, we've all probably volunteered for Clearwater Jazz Holiday. I started doing that 12 years ago when first got started here. So I've still trees, clean tables and all those things that go from making this not just a city event, but a real community event. So many volunteers in this event, you wouldn't be able to without volunteers. Not just the volunteers that help with the actual event, but the volunteers that help all year long preparing for that. So we certainly appreciate you and this long history in the city. It's just become something Clearwater identifies with this festival every year. So my questions aren't intended to devalue the importance of the event to our community, the history of the event. It's very important. And I want to see good success this year. But I do have some questions. And the first question is, I thought I heard us say earlier that we can't, so this is from the city attorney, we can't approve a year ahead. Can we only approve a budget item for the actual budget year we're in?
We would have to have an appropriations clause. And that's, we have in a lot of our agreements.
Just saying that if the money's not available, then
We can terminate the agreement.
The second thing is, when would be the first opportunity if we did a gaming agreement? When would be the first opportunity for us to appropriate for within the budget year? Was it when the budget year starts in October?
It's the fiscal year, so October 1.
So that's one of my questions to you, Steve, is, May. Why are we in May with the request rather than October or November after your event to come in and talk about what you need for next year?
Yeah, it's a good question. We have historically always taken the lead with Parks and Recreation and with the DDD on timing of the request, which started immediately after the last festival. And so we've gone through the appropriate steps that we always have with first with Parks and Rec on the in-kind support, and then through this process with the DDD. And one of the values of having a multi-year agreement in place is to help with this issue that you're talking about. We begin planning, extending offers to the artists that are coming, selling our sponsorships, and as I mentioned in my presentation, we've accomplished all of that, and we're here in late May, ready to announce the lineup and asking for the support. Every year, this is an issue that creates anxiety, I think, both from us and the city in terms of the process. And so we absolutely are hopeful that we can maintain funding levels at least at what it has been over the last few years, because we have relied on that in terms of this planning going forward as we sit here now. There have been significant changes as we're talking about with new costs that we're absorbing, free areas that came out during the discussion that we're working to compromise with the city so we can have the best unified approach together. But the reality is we're mid-year and there has been no signaling to us up until this point in time that we would need to adjust those budgets of traditional support and planning the event. If the funding support were to change dramatically from what it has been the last few years, that would be very significant to us, particularly in year one, which is one of the points that I wanted to point out, that what if we can't compromise on something that makes everyone feel unified and good about the level of support for this year. So I am concerned about that, about making a change in this calendar year where we are now. Very open to talking about the future and also have some notes on the idea of a multi-year agreement, 4 years versus 2 years or things like that. I also wanted to respond to Councilmember Cotton and Councilmember Teixeira on a couple of points they raised, but hopefully that answers your question.
Well, I have questions too, but, and the last you and I talked was December, so it's been a while. So this was all, like being at the planning, that was fairly new to me, but pretty badly agenda because we hadn't talked since when we talked. In December, I told you, and, so you're coming in for 140 and asking for 140, and you had 125 last year. Our conversation was, and it was a good conversation, but was, you know, how do we get lower than 125? Because I shared with you, and which is this board, everything we're doing as a city, we're trying to reduce the city's contribution over time. We repeatedly, we're asking return events to, who are you partnering with throughout the community to try to reduce this, the city contribution? And so that ask of you is what we're asking everybody to do. And so when you come in higher than what we had last year, it just first raises, you know, a little concern on my end that we're working to get it down. And you shared with me, you know, some challenges, and I believe that you've had COVID, you've had, you know, displacement, make your ballpark where you had to have it. I mean, you've had significant challenges. Understood. That said, you know, we've got to try to make improvement every year and kind of work out a new relationship. And so I asked you about collaboration. You know, who are we collaborating with forward? Because such a long-term event that the community loves. You would think that sponsors would just, you know, really love to tag themselves to this event. So that's one type of collaboration I'd ask you to look at. You felt like you're doing as much as you do, but really we need for you to do more to try to get this down over time. That would be my second problem with having a multi-year thing, is you got flat here. And I told you, I thought our goal as a city was to try to, you know, staircase it down over time. So the multi-year, it's the other challenge for me with this, is it's flat. And we really would like to try to get you to get to where the city's always going to plan on this. We put Parks and Recs resources, police us, we make all these contributions in addition to this money. We won't continue to do that. But the actual allocation, I think, historically, we've talked about trying to get repeat events to get that down. So that's one concern. And the other, you know, it's kind of the elephant in the room, so Councilman Albert raised it, but he mentioned competition with sound. I hope that we don't see that as a community. I know that 1 year it was there. It didn't work out very well, actually, and they had a different structure on how they charge groups for using it than they do now. But, you know, we spent a lot of money on that amphitheater to be used for events like this, taxpayer money. And I would just like to see community collaboration to use that space in some way. And, you know, maybe it takes some out-of-the-box thinking to make it work for you all financially, if they have resources, you know, last night. The other thing too is covered seating. You know, you have been fortunate, but I remember one year we had a complete washout for gas all day because of weather. Last night, 3,300 folks here from Willie Nelson, it rained in the middle of the program. And they continued on with the program, everybody's under covered seating, a little bit of rain down on the stage, but there's that aspect to it as well that I know that there have been challenges in trying to figure out all that. But I really think that increased collaboration would help everyone. They are very good at filling that need. I think they can probably help, you know, your organization in some way. And I get that this, you know, we've got a long history of doing it a different way. And it's very successful doing it that way over the years, but I just think increased collaboration will help you get this subsidy from the city down. So that's why I shared with you in December. And so I guess where I'm at, I'm kind of in the middle ground. This is an important event for our community. Don't want to cut you off. I don't
No,
too much. The multi-years, pretty big ask in light of what I just said. That said, I have a challenge in going higher than 125 that we had last year. And I think that, you know, some reduction from that even to encourage the organization to see more community involvement and more community contribution would be helpful, at least to as a board to share that we're gonna treat this all day like, you know, it's a unique event, very special right here. We're not gonna be fair with them, we're being fair with them. We're expecting them to reduce their excessive overtime.
No, appreciate it very much. A lot of good comments, and I have several notes, because there are so many different topics that we cover. And I would like to do my best just to address some of them to the extent it's helpful at reaching a compromise, if I could. And I'll start with your comments, Mayor, from our discussion for the benefit of the other council members who weren't participating, of course, on just the idea of being less dependent on this particular funding, because I think that's your sentiment with all of the events. We absolutely share that goal. And the goal is one of continuing to expand on private-public foundational support. Sponsorships, earned revenue, all of that. We have worked aggressively for many years to diversify the revenues that reduce pressure on public resources. And I think that's where your sentiment is. At the same time, events of this scale are increasingly expensive to produce. Talent, staging, security, labor, insurance, infrastructure costs, they continue to rise. And the city's partnership has never simply been about subsidizing an event. It's been an investment that helps leverage substantial dollars in a broader economic activity. Tourism exposure, community activation, there's a charitable component to our organization, which makes it very different than other events that the city is supporting, and cultural identity for Clearwater. Public-private partnership remains an essential part of major destination events, not just here in Clearwater, but all over the country. And it allows us to grow sponsorships. It allows us to attract visitors and maintain the accessibility for the community. So that's one point I wanted to address first in response to the mayor's comments. In response to the idea of how long can this agreement be, I think that we believe a multi-year agreement is the best path to aspire to collectively. It helps with sustainability and growth and timing of planning. But at the same time, we certainly understand the importance of maintaining flexibility and accountability as the festival continues to regroup its momentum following these different years of disruption. Because it's not just the pandemic. We talked about it. It's being displaced from our home of over 45 years. The experiment in the sound, the hurricanes, it's more than just the pandemic that we have fought through. And so we understand the importance of being flexible, but we also understand the benefit of having a multi-year agreement. One option could be a multi-year framework that includes some type of review point. For example, following the first 2 years of the festival cycles, there's language in the agreement that allows the parties to reevaluate attendance trends, operational considerations, downtown activation impact, all of these different considerations that were raised together as the agreement progresses, because our goal is not to limit that flexibility, but rather to create enough long-term stability to allow for a lot of things: more effective artist booking, sponsorship cultivation, marketing strategy, operational planning. And so there's those items that come to my mind when we talk about a multi-year framework. But with that said, if a 4-year structure is not feasible, or if there's not consensus to support it at the time, we would encourage consideration of at least a 2-year commitment for those reasons that we said. Because I think that even a shorter agreement would provide meaningful planning stability while allowing us collectively to do those things as we work towards 50 years together. So that's what I would say on the multi-year agreement, that we are open to discussions that makes us feel comfortable together, but we do feel that at least a 2-year agreement would bring the stability. On the funding, I would emphasize that maintaining support at or near the current levels. The last couple of years was $125,000. given the changes in the financial model that we talked about for this year, where we are beginning to absorb new costs, where we're giving up some revenue, is really important. If adjustments are necessary because of the sentiment of the board, our hope would be to remain as close as possible to what it has been, recognizing the value of the event and the impact that we've discussed. On that point, we've talked about many sponsor commitments have already been secured, artists are being confirmed, contracts are being finalized, significant planning is underway. And my biggest concern is that substantial changes in support levels at this point in the process become particularly difficult for us to absorb operationally. And we would evaluate every path forward if that were the case, if the support today were less than what it has traditionally been. But depending on the magnitude of that reduction, it could require significant reductions in programming for this year and unwinding substantial planning that is already in place for this year and jeopardize our ability to produce the festival or to produce it at the scale that we have planned to do this year. I think looking at some of those issues requires a little bit of a longer runway together for our planning. And so my hope is that we can maintain the levels at or near what they have been at the very least, especially in this year one, as we work through this together and figure out what the best fit is. And then Councilmember Cotton, I've thought a lot about the challenges that we've worked through the last few years in terms of attendance. And I realize that in our first year back since 2019 in the format, that's the normal format, that attendance is not where we all want it to be. I think we all do recognize why it's not. There has been substantial disruption to relocating from our space for that long period of time. But we also have reestablished it. We've got great marketing assets from pulling it off last year. And I think we can expect to have the momentum going into the next couple of years of rebuilding that to where we were. I hope we all understand that. I think we do, but from some of the comments, I'm not sure. There's going to be some disruption, having thought through the types of challenges we have. I'm very proud of the fact that we're still here, and we still have kept the community impact that there is. But beyond the attendance numbers alone, I do think that there's tremendous value in what Jazz Holiday has represented for this community. And I'll reiterate that for nearly 5 decades, the festival has helped shape Clearwater's identity as a music and arts destination. Long before the sound, long before year-round the amphitheater program, Jazz Holiday helped establish that reputation and the audience culture that's here. And so today when the city speaks about Clearwater, Mayor, I know you brought up as a music city destination, is what we vision ourselves as now and aspire to. We've been a foundational part of that. And that identity has sustained over many generations. We also uniquely bring the community together, extraordinarily broad cross-sections of the community. There are longtime residents, visitors, families, sponsors, students, artists, volunteers, downtown businesses, and community partners across multiple generations and backgrounds. We do that in a way that very few other events in Tampa Bay do. And so while attendance metrics are certainly important, I get that. I think the broader cultural, economic, tourism, civic value of an event like Jazz Holiday is also important to consider where we are right now. I hope that addresses some of the points that were raised. If it doesn't, I'm happy to
I
jump
want
in.
to say something, trying not to have it be the issue, but I understand what you're saying on not wanting to alter a program that's been successful for 4 days. But I think another thing Councilman Baldwin alluded to with competition with sound, there's competition for music and people who like to go to music events more than their efforts now here in Clearwater. And so that does affect, what people are willing to spend money to go see, just pay whatever. They have multiple choices now where they didn't before. So that was a good point as well. But I don't know that the programming that we've always had for jazz holidays, the programming that we need today. And Country Thunder was 3 days, not 4. They've had 4 or 5 bands I've never heard of, but one of the radio stations here in town, a couple different radio stations that have essentially hosted one-day festivals in the South that have drawn, I think one of them recently had 7,000 or 8,000 people. So, I mean, the format maybe has changed, what the market will support. And so I understand the tradition, I understand all that, but if we need to try to reduce the number of taxpayers, then maybe we need to think about what the market wants. And maybe the market doesn't want the same 4-day format that we've had for years and years, a revised version. That would be just as spectacular, but we'll bring out more people and benefit the community.
On that point, we completely understand the city's interest not only in managing costs, but we want to be good partners in that discussion. We do. And while we may have some disagreement about the programming because we have evolved the programming significantly with Jazz Holiday from a smooth and straight ahead Jazz Fest in the 80s to something more akin to New Orleans Jazz Fest with everything in between now and a lot of contemporary music. So I think we have a little bit differing of opinion maybe on that, but the reducing from 4 days to 3 days is something we are definitely open to looking at. It's not a simple cost savings for us to do that. And one of the points on that is that it fundamentally changes the events model. And so while some expenses are reduced when you reduce from 4 to 3, the 4th day, at least right now, with the format we have now, is generating critical earned revenue in the form of ticket sales, concessions, sponsor value that supports not just the festival, but the year-round education and outreach programs that the foundation supports. And so losing that day would likely, at least initially, without longer-term planning, create a net financial negative for us, not a savings. But the broader consideration is also our eligibility for Visit St. Pete Clearwater Tourist Development Council funding is tied to attendance and visitor impact. So a 4-day event, at least right now, gives us a larger platform to drive visitation. That funding is required mainly for us to use for marketing the destination outside of the region, which brings new visitors into Clearwater and to downtown. And so reducing the event days limits that reach, which in turn impacts our ability to attract visitors and grow the event over time. Importantly for this year, we've already planned around a 4-day event, of course, but we're open, any evaluation, I guess my overriding point on this is any evaluation of a 3-day model or a lesser model will require from our standpoint a longer runway, a careful analysis. It's not something that we can be implemented without a responsible look at the overall reorganization of the Jazz Holiday Foundation to make that work. Certainly not in May of the year we're planning for the festival. So we're open to talk about that. We just can't implement it in this calendar year.
For discussion.
I have a follow-up question.
Mhm.
You mentioned youth costs. Thinking you're talking about in-kind support from the city. So do you have that data with you? How much in-kind support did you see from Clearwater last year versus this year, for example?
Yeah, and one of the things that may help, I know Chris Cook is here today, and he may be able to add very specifically to the conversation with those numbers. If I may?
Sure.
Mayor and distinguished guests here, we have Ann Lopez actually had this in the item, Chris Cook, Parks and Recreation. So 25-26 Clearwater Jazz Holiday in-kind was $62,820. And what we have proposed for you guys later today, the council members later today, is $56,538. And I'll just say with that, we had met with staff from the foundation right after last year's event, trying to come up with ways on how they can meet what we're doing, which is trying to reduce everybody, in a responsible way to reduce the cost while still getting them services needed to run the event.
Just a follow-up comment. Just to clarify my position, I differ from some of my colleagues. I don't have, or I'm not focusing on decreasing, the, support. To me, it's all boils down to one thing, our dollars achieving our mission, which is, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? And so you have to understand that allocating 40% of our revenue, and leaving us with 60% to program the rest of the year and all the applicants is tough. So you can put yourself in my position, allocating 40% of your budget on one concert when you have 4 days worth of programming to do. See what I'm saying? So it's not the value of providing, but just or my view on our budgeting. It's just hard to justify that 40%. But thank you for coming and clarifying one of the, clarifying the levels.
No, and I understand that. Thank you for sharing that perspective. Because I get it, the challenge of what it is. And if there is a consensus of decreasing the funding, my ask again is, since that has not been signaled in the way to us for our planning for this year, to consider that, and the impact that it could have on us in this calendar year, because it will be significant. Yes, I'm concerned about that.
And last but not least, I found your suggestion of the first doing a 2-year with the review point. I find that interesting because it will make you, give you that latitude and freedom to program and also help the staff as well in terms of logistics of it, but yet give us the upfront if we need to. I would consider that.
Councilmember Cobb?
Yes, thank you, sir. Steve, thank you again for all the information and listening to what we have to say. I think you can see that we're concerned with budgeting and making sure that the people's money is going to appropriate things. What I have to say here, I hope this doesn't beat you up, but, I've heard you say a few times that we've gotten 125 at the previous asks, and now we're at 148,000. You've been saying that it's a compromise for allowing the free portion of it and different aspects of how you have to set up now. But that's an increase of the normal ask of 23,000. So we're essentially making up from the 125 to the 148, right? So you're asking for more money because of said compromise. The mayor even beat me to it, and that's where we're trying to, and I think you know this too from seeing other meetings and where we've been, is getting more people to look for those outside collaborators, right? So when I thought a multi-year discount, it's a step down, not an equal and then step up. With that, I would think that because you guys have been so integrated within Clearwater's history, that there have got to be corporations, at least 15 corporations within Clearwater or somebody that could get $10,000 donations, right? There's $150,000 right there. Whatever it is that you work that out with your agency, and now you don't need to come to us, right? We're irrelevant at that point. You have the funding you need, and that process is to go forward. I also think about Country Thunder that was brought up as well. That was a 3-day event with a 30-day from St. Pete Beach to Clearwater lead time to try and get all their things taken care of. And we just got metrics back today that showed with the same data, roughly 38,000 people attended over that 3-day time period. And that's substantial, right? So again, I look forward to seeing where we're going with this. I would not be for that multi-year deal at this point. I would be more so forward to see how this year goes and with all the different music venues that we have and again, integral part of bringing music to Clearwater. Recognize that. You guys have done a great job. I don't know that because of the partnership and being integral in that just means that we keep handing out money. We need to be diligent with taxpayer dollars. So I look forward to what the rest of everybody else here has to say. I would be for a 1 year, and then working through whatever that dollar amount looks like through everybody on this board.
Mr. Robert.
Okay, I just wanted to make a couple of comments. You know, it was real interesting, I had a talk with Bobby Rossi from Ruth Eckerd as to why, concert tickets cost so much more today than they did 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And he said that, which made sense, that artists used to basically throw concerts on for record sales. And so you could get artists to come fairly cheaply because their whole thing was to sell records. And nowadays, they don't do that anymore. I mean, it's Spotify and Apple Music and, you know, they're not doing that. So they're charging, I understand, their rates go up every year because there's nothing really, they're not selling anything. I mean, they're selling themselves at that. So I understand why your costs go up. I can't argue with that. I don't want to see you get hurt. I want to see you be successful. But I told you that I was going to listen to everybody else, say what they had to say. So I'm going to see if I can strike a balance here. I think, and I've been talking to you a long time about multi-year contracts, because I know, you know, now thinking back, why DDB takes funding requests in May, and I think all the way back when I was on DDB, that's when we did it then. I mean, they said for major funding, everything has to be in by May, and then we would pick the rest, you know, for the year in June or July. And with you, the event being in December, that's like sudden death, so I understand that, it's a timing thing. But here's what I'm gonna make a motion to, I'm gonna make a motion to do you a 2-year contract, because it'll finish out this year, and then next year, it'll give you a chance to revisit, get the numbers, what you had this year, and see what you need to do next year to really change things up if need be. I do think that the free, now you're making a large section of it free, as the merchants downtown, and you know, I look back, I remember Jazz Holiday used to be free. I mean, it wasn't, maybe it was 10 years ago, we started charging $10.
2012.
2012, okay, well, it was $10 and everybody was having a fit. Gosh, $10. But I think if you make a majority of it free, you're gonna have a lot more people that are coming. I can almost bet that there'll be a lot of people coming with free. They'll bring their chairs and blankets and they'll sit up there. And you know what, if I was a corporate sponsor, I might sponsor that free area with a sign or something saying, hey, this is the Walker Ford or whatever area, you know. That might be very, it might be a good opportunity for a sponsor to get you some more money. So what I'm gonna make a motion on is for this year, $130,000 on the October 15, 18, and next year, $120,000. I'm gonna cut it down. So you've got something that you need to plan for next year. We'll just do a 2-year. I wanna see the numbers pop back up to where they were, which I think they will. But this gives you an opportunity this year to fund it. You're gonna have to work a little harder because we're giving you a little bit less. You know, the December 5th thing, come back to us on that. This is a lot of money here. So that's gonna be my motion, 130 this year, 125, or 120 next year. 2-year contract. And we'll see if we've got the votes for that.
Is there a second? Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
It will be taken roll call. So,
Did you pick the numbers?
What's the numbers again?
No,
I think we got.
Just see what the roll call. Board members,
Yes,
Lucy?
it would.
In favor? Okay. Councilmember Woodson?
Yeah.
All right.
Councilmember Aldridge, so that's 3. Councilmember Enos, 4.
Nay.
All right, that would be, 4 to my right voting in favor and myself and 3 voting against. Okay. So we are done. And again, you know, love you. I just want to see if we can collaborate and work together. And I think I'm speaking for the others who voted against it. Let's see if we can get some collaboration in our organization. Congratulations, we look forward, now that we've resolved this. Look forward to working with you to make this, extremely successful meeting.
You all are doing an incredible job in Clearwater. We appreciate, on behalf of the Jeff Solly Foundation, the time spent this afternoon sharing the different perspectives and the ability to be proud and make us proud with the work that we're doing. So I appreciate it very much. And so I understand the process. If we do proceed with the end of the year event, that just comes in on a different application for consideration if we do that. And for this application, $130,000 in year 1, $120,000 in year 2, 2-year contract, and we work with city staff on that. Is that the direction? Okay, all right. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Now we're moving on to 4.2 on the agenda, approve the March 2026 financial statement.
Good afternoon, Chair, and members of the board. My name is Brian Olbert, CRA Coordinator. The March 2026 financial statement is presented for filing. To date, total expenditures and transfers are approximately $834,467. During the month of March, expenditures total $39,548. Additionally, future downtown initiatives line item currently maintains an unallocated fund balance of approximately $592,915 available for future projects and programs. At this time, the overall balance is $1,238,229. Staff recommends approval of the March 2026 financial statement for filing. I am happy to take any questions.
Anyone from the public today desire to speak to this agenda? Hearing seeing none, is there any more discussion? None, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Agenda item 4.3. Oppenheim Associates Downtown Brandon.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the board, Ryan Olbert, CRA Coordinator. This item represents a milestone in the Downtown Development Board's marketing and public relations initiative. Over the past several months, RB Oppenheim Associates has worked with key stakeholders to identify themes, opportunities, and perceptions that are shaping the downtown Clearwater identity. Today's presentation will include proposed logo concepts, messaging platforms, and branding approaches designed to position downtown Clearwater as a more active, engaging, and recognizable destination. The goal of today's discussion is to receive board feedback and direction on preferred branding elements, including the logo direction, messaging approach, so that the project team can move into refinement, development of the final brand guide and implementation strategy. At this time, I'd like to introduce Michael Nguyen, President and CEO of RB Oppenheim Associates, who will walk the board through the presentation and facilitate discussion and feedback.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Chair and City Member Board. It's a pleasure to be in front of you again today. We met back in January for the first time, and it is a pleasure to meet with you again to present the downtown Clearwater branding and messaging. Over the last few months, we have had the opportunity to meet with several, all of the board members, as well as merchants from downtown, Chamber of Commerce, Visit St. Pete Clearwater, Ruth Eckert, as well as city team members from Parks and Rec and Public Communications. And this represents a majority consensus around the messaging and creative concepts. And we're excited to share these after over 40 hours of interviews, nearly 100 creative concepts for the logos, and numerous rounds and revisions and feedback. And we're excited to share this with you today. The Find It narrative, find it in downtown Clearwater. So downtown Clearwater is a collection of moments and places, sounds, flavors, and views and events of everyday discoveries. But the biggest thing that we wanted to ensure, as we heard from all of the stakeholders, was it is important to ensure that downtown Clearwater is seen as a destination brand and not a government entity. As a destination brand, it is a place to create memories. It is a place to explore. It is a place where you can find it. And this narrative helps to combat the perception that's been held for some time, but there's nothing to do in downtown. The Find It in Downtown concept makes it discovery as part of this experience, that there's more here than I realized. And so this begins to shift the story from absence into opportunity. And so as we thought about how do we create this feeling, this emotional feeling through messaging in a framework that connects with people, that connects with their experiences and their memories in downtown Clearwater, we wanted to ensure that it was inviting. It created a sense of welcome and discovery, as well as playful and energetic, representing the often talked about idea of music and the music city that lives here, as well as finding the unexpected surprise and delight that makes every moment feel worth discovering. And if you think about something, when you have a moment, when you have a memory that's created in a place, what do you do with that memory? You go home and you tell your friends and family about, oh my gosh, we had this great time. And the next time that we go there, you should come with us. And that is what Find It in Downtown Clearwater, that's what the framework is really designed to do, is to create that word of mouth that creates the invitation that brings even more people into downtown. And this is our final positioning statement. Downtown Clearwater is where live music, waterfront energy, and local flavor meet. From the sound of Cleveland Street, every visit offers a new reason to arrive early, stay late, and find something worth coming back for. And as we started to think about how could we unpack that, how could we resonate and create an ever-evolving, expanding, and customizable set of phrases that many people could find their people, could find their flavor, could find where the city meets the sound, to find that spot, their spot on Cleveland Street, to find something unexpected, to find something happening here. And so we've given you, as you have your copies in front of you, this presentation, that the Find It narrative across all communication channels, whether it's content or social media, all the different email marketings, all of the channels that are available. And again, remember I mentioned all of the entities that we spoke with. It is imperative, because that is something we found in our discovery. There is a fragmentation among those entities, chamber and business merchants and all. So everyone working together to find it and create that messaging framework is so important. As we go into the next part of the presentation, anytime creatives really spend a lot of time, energy, and effort, creative children are born.
And when creative children are born, they are named. And therefore, we've named our logos because they're like our babies. The first logo that we're going to introduce you to is the Horizon logo. And the second one is the Mosaic logo. And I think what's important for you to know before we even look at them is to know that Horizon is an elegant and simple modern concept, whereas Mosaic is more literal and expressive. And so while they share some vibrancy and they both lend themselves very well to the messaging framework of Find It in downtown Clearwater, they have two very distinct styles. And it's worth noting as we show you some of the examples, whether it's posters or event flyers or social media posts, that these designs can be adaptable. So just because you see Horizon on one of those doesn't mean that Mosaic couldn't be used in that. So let me introduce you to Horizon. And as I said, Horizon is an elegant and simple design with hints of the Bay Pier Sound, waterfront experience, Coachman Park, as well as the vibrancy and the creation of memories and discovery. And next you're going to see, what does this brand look like in action? What does it look like on the streets of downtown Clearwater, whether it's hats or bags or signage, a wall mural in a business, or other examples. Here you can see an example of how it might look for an event, as well as other calendars or posters that would support downtown activations, as well as social media content where you can see the branding elements, the supporting elements of that swoosh. You know what's also interesting too, someone pointed out the other day, that swoosh looks like the scale where music notes go. And so these can be adaptable, customizable, depending on the audience or the venue. And also a reminder, because you think about it, right? If I were to ask you, where is your go-to place to find the thing? You would say, I don't know what it is. Again, that is what we're trying to create, is downtown Clearwater is the place where you will find it. And next, another example of the energy, find your vibe, find your joy. Again, you'll see in a minute where Mosaic could be dropped right into that, to this example on a social media post. People dancing downtown, people enjoying music for every mood. And next is the downtown Mosaic logo. And here, again, something, what we're trying to communicate, and again, from the feedback that we were given, the direction from the feedback from so very many stakeholders was, we need something that's easy to recognize, that depicts the waterfront, food and drink, shopping, music, and entertainment, but also doesn't leave out that musical feel, and also the hint of that outline of the Bay Pier Sound, which is there again, just in a sub-representation, or you can think of it as the scale where music notes would be placed. And again, we've given you some examples of what this brand would look like in action on the streets of downtown Clearwater, whether it's in totes or bags or signage, as well as examples here of the logo placement along with different treatments of how that would look in collateral material for upcoming events or various calendar items. And then a few more examples of social media content. And you'll notice here the use of icons, which could be supplemental creative that could be used along with the Mosaic logo. But again, just another example of find your style to coordinate with that framework of local finds in shopping, or feel every beat with live music, again, to accentuate find your rhythm in downtown Clearwater. Because at the end of the day, the question that we're really trying to come to a majority consensus today, and what we're asking from the board is, Which one of these concepts brings us closer to being easily seen and identified as a destination brand and not a government entity? And just lastly, a couple of more examples of food, family, and friends, as well as creating memories to last a lifetime where the city meets the sound. And now we'd like to pause for a moment, and we've got a slide for you where we've got we've got the Verizon logo and the Mosaic logo together side by side so that you can see them. And we'd love to invite feedback at this time for further direction.
Is there any discussion? Councilmember.
As you know, I was pretty clear on what my choices were, and so I'm very excited to see that both made it. Very excited. But in all seriousness, the Find Us slogan is exactly the kind of young, catchy, and versatile messaging that we need. It's short, it's memorable, it doesn't feel corporate or forced, and it's an active verb, which I like. And it feels current. The beauty of Find It is not that it suddenly challenges, it is that it challenges people, or those who complain there's nothing to do, go find it. Without music, go find it. The hidden gem restaurant, go find it. The arts, the events, the vibe. The reason to stay long, everything can just be said. Find it. Very easy, very short. I also supported the selected logo because the sweeping lines align beautifully with the visual language already emerging in our current projects. So the logo and the tagline feel cohesive, modern, and fresh. So I'm very excited, very happy about the selection. I was actually crossing my fingers. This is great branding. It doesn't lecture people about what downtown is supposed to be. It invites them to experience it for themselves. I'm very excited about it. Thank you for letting my work.
Thank you. It's your expression, so.
Councilmember Wilson.
Thank you very much. I do like the designs a lot for the logos. I do like the Verizon design. I think overall it's great. I do have a couple of questions, which kind of made me thinking. I don't know, when we say the new perspective, there is more here than I realized. We don't say anything specific now. Then we use, I think it was in the Finder. I'm here on page 7, not just the pipeline, find something happening here. Again, we don't really say anything specific. We don't say anything specific because we cannot define it ourselves, or we don't say anything specific because, like Lena said, we want people to come here and discover it for themselves. To me, this is a little bit unclear because when my original thought was, we need to come up with an identity for Clearwater. And out of the whole presentation, the identity that I see, and I like it very much, is I believe it says where the city means the waterfront, or the city means this waterfront is the sound, the city means the sound. I like that a lot. And I think this has to be emphasized because this sounds like identity. When we say find something, we're not, what are we inviting them to do exactly? If they believe that there is nothing to do here, and we just tell them, well, there is something to do here, it's not exactly a selling point, it's more like, I don't know, it's a general idea. And I think my perception is that we have to go from general idea to something very, very, very specific to what we love the water for, which I do believe is music is a very, very good choice, and it's very real to people who love music, we have Clearwater Jazz, we have the country, people know we have events, unlike, a lot of cities divide in that scale. So that would just be my feedback, but overall, it's great.
Thank you for that feedback. I think you're right. That shift from there's nothing to there's something, but what is that something? And your direction is fantastic, and that's why we're here. And you echoed what has been literally coined from this council where the city meets the sound. So any more, and we're gonna have a majority consensus very quickly on that, but thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Michael, thank you for the presentation.
Absolutely.
I'm not really sure where you got that, where the city meets the sound.
I don't know either.
Sounds great, and you obviously took notes as we chatted, but it's
That's right,
appreciated.
that's right.
Love the two logos. First one, the simplicity of it, the flow of it, the movement represents so much of our downtown district, but then, the second one, I like what you changed, what was the third at the time option to this. I like the versatility of it and how you can pull out the individual logos and attach it, whether it's food, drink, music, shopping, and use that on the marketing side to tell the story. So I do like them both a lot. Actually, I think my wife just ordered a tote from you. She wants the Mosaic tote already. So first order's already in.
All right.
This is exciting. We've talked about this for many, many months, that we needed to not just sit back and wait and let some organic process take shape in downtown, and let a story continue to be naturally told and organically as it is. But we need to shift that focus and that perception. We can do that ourselves. And that's with branding, with concepts like this. Find it, I love it. Whether, find your music, find your vibe, find the sound, find your line, find your tequila, find your cowboy, whatever it might be. I do like it, and it lends into that, what you kind of narrowed it into is discovery. And I understand what my board member friend was saying and kind of agree, but on the other side, I see like you're enticing them to go discover it, right?
That's right.
And what is that? Go find it, because we think you'll find it.
Right.
So I do see both sides of that, but this is exciting, continuing to tell the story and shifting that perception. That's going to be a huge help for our entire city, not just downtown. And I appreciate you and the team and all the work you did, and the listening, because you obviously listen to all of us, and it shows in your presentation, so thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Remember,
Thank you, Mike. I like both logos. I think they're both great. I am moving more towards the Mosaic one because it shows what you can find in downtown Clearwater.
Right.
And I do agree with what's being said. Two of our board members previously is we need to give, I think, more specific direction. Just generalizing, come over and find something.
Right.
And but I'm also more interested to find out your plan in terms, something caught my head that says, in terms of email marketing. What type of audience are we trying to target? Do you have any idea on that, or is there a plan?
Yeah, that's a really great question. You'll see later in the slides what our next steps are, and the next steps will be to put together workshops that will invite all of the channels and the stakeholders, as I mentioned earlier, that we met with to get this collaboration, to find out what are the channels, email marketing, social, video, micro influencers, to try to figure out what is available to us, and then how can we apply the framework of Find It, but specific to the audience, specific to the event, and to the location. Because I think what we've shown is that the Find It anchor can be adaptable to anything, right? We just need to understand, we're not gonna force or make it be, this is the RVOA way. What we have learned is, how is Clearwater? What is the experience in downtown Clearwater? And we will adapt to make that authentic. And so we will have to look to the chamber, we'll have to look to all these different entities as to what their email marketing channels and what their segmentation offers, and we'll be happy to provide any feedback or input that we have learned over 40 years of digital marketing expertise to provide their team with as well.
Yeah, thank you for answering that. The only reason I ask is because we do also, I think each business does, we do our own marketing.
Sure.
And we want to make sure that the target audience is suitable for downtown Clearwater to come in, somewhere that are nearby, not,
Sure.
45, 50 miles away.
Right.
So, yeah, thank you for answering that.
Perfect, thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Michael, once again, I think both of these are good, especially through our presentations. I appreciate you and your staff being able to start narrowing them down. For my colleagues up here, and I know Mike Suzanne is not gonna like this, I like the Horizon logo a lot better. I think that it's cleaner, simpler, and when you put it on things like downtown posters and those types of things, it becomes less cluttered, in my opinion, right? I think that it's a wonderful picture, but when you put it in the backdrop of a bunch of information, it starts to become a distraction, in my opinion. So when you have something that's nice and clean, straight to the point, over in the corner, whichever corner it's in, it's not too distracting. It gets the point across of where you're going to be trying to find your next adventure, while not taking away from the lineup that you may be looking at or whatever the poster's trying to convey. That's just, both look great. I'm more heading towards the Horizon logo for that reason, so I wanted everybody to kind of be on board with where my mind's kind of at. So thank you again. Look forward to the future, seeing the next steps, but now we're at least know about that.
Very good.
That's really appreciated.
So we were talking about the versatility, so I want to give you an example, ladies and gentlemen. So let's say we do an ad and we list all the restaurants in downtown Clearwater. You can say, you can find it in downtown Clearwater. That's what I mean by versatility. We can go as specific as we can or as general, right? So that's why, like, depending on how you use it, you can be very specific or general. And them explore it or actually tell them where and what it is. So let's say the bistro, find the best burger, where you find it in downtown Clearwater. You're still keeping that find it specific to your restaurant.
No, that makes sense. I'm with you on that. As long as my whole point was, as long as we stay, specific of what we're trying to sell. I'll give you a good example.
So when I moved here, and then, I discovered Burgardens as a kid very quickly. And then I discovered it's actually, you can buy an annual pass and go there every day. That's exactly what I did. Then on my way to Burgardens, there was a quick Tampa Zoo. I never realized, why would people go to Tampa Zoo when there was a zoo with roller coasters? Like that did not make sense to me at all. Then they did a logo, I believe it was years ago. It said, your eyes will be amazed. I don't know why, but every time I drove and I saw that huge billboard said, my eyes will be amazed. It wasn't specific. It wasn't that they were selling something, they were not selling me a tiger. They were selling me an experience. So I went there. When I came back, maybe not, but I
Before now.
Okay, I hope you're not. Anyway, it's a great experience. The point is,
I would never stop there if they would not sell me the concept. So my idea is this, we're selling the concept, great, let's push it. Let's push discovery, work on them, or something, I don't know, you will be amazed at what you find, something. If we're selling the concept, that's great. If we're selling a specific product, I don't know, we have a true Italian chef in downtown on Palermo, or we have only one for the seed oil-free burgers. I don't know, just making it up. If we're selling something specific, great, that might sell. If we're selling a concept, great. As long as we're selling something that we know how we're selling. I'm just against the use the word something, because that something makes no sense to me.
Well, I think that's a great point. I think what we were trying to illustrate here is a shift from there's nothing, which is absence, to opportunity, not something. That's a different connotation. But to your point, I think the other thing here is that the find it anchor is an active verb that is inviting for people to come and discover, explore, or whatever it is. But then, as we're starting to put this together with visuals, right, where it's like, okay, if we're trying to communicate to an audience that's about a big food extravaganza, it's food tour Clearwater, and, we've got a food tour thing, or whatever that might be. Or if it's Mama Duck, you can use Find the Unexpected, right? So it's, and then the introduction of the logos that can be interchanged there. So, what I hope my comment is that I agree 100% that it has to have clear direction. And what I hope that we've done by hearing and listening to your feedback and creating, or applying creative principles is to create a brand message and a brand identity that is a destination brand and not just, another government. I think we're waiting to hear.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Okay, so, the Verizon logo to me is a more artistic logo, simple, artistic. If we were already developed massive downtown with all these kind of things, we're growing down, but, I think that would be better served in something that's already established, like we're growing. And so the more I look at Mosaic, the more descriptive that is to me for somebody that hasn't been downtown before. That's, I'm drawn to the first one, but then when I think about it, I'm landing on the Mosaic because it's more descriptive, it's colorful, it's cheerful. Like, oh, hey, they got music and shopping and, like restaurants, and maybe we should try it and discover what's there. So I'm kind of leaning that way.
Thank you for your feedback.
So, I do agree with the vice mayor on, because we were awkward with this, the first one's more artistic, I'm sure that, my only pause on it was that, I don't know that people who aren't familiar with Clearwater see music, elevated music in it. I don't know, those who are in Clearwater too, I think it might represent Cushman Park better than it does the entire downtown area, just because it shows us that it's but I don't know, what the vice mayor said resonates with me a bit, but I don't know, the logo needs to tell the entire story. That's what the purpose of the ad is, to talk about, focus on music.
Give it context.
That's why originally I told you the Mosaic was more impactful for me, because it clearly had a logo that had sound, music. And I think that is something we have, the rest of the region doesn't have right now. So that's something I think we want to bring, and it's bringing a lot of people downtown Clearwater already. So it's something we definitely want to emphasize. And I do see that it's, the first one's cleaner. I just don't know. We all can tell that the purple or lavender one is, is the daycare sound, but I don't know that anybody else does that. And I see what you're saying about the music notes. I don't know if, we see that, looking at it over and over again, I don't know, first impressions of that. So that would be my only pause on the first one, is that music is important to our success, continued success, and I just don't know if that comes out. That said, maybe it doesn't need it. Maybe we just need something to stands out, to draw people's attention to the rest of it. Okay. Good direction for you, hopefully.
Well, I guess I'll ask you this question. Does Mosaic or Horizon get us closer to a destination? Which one does that? Forget about simple, whatever, just which one looks like a destination?
Yeah, off what I just said, I think Mosaic does, because it.
Okay,
because
Mosaic, can I get a raise of hand?
those things.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, thank you.
I can count.
Yes. Very good, very good.
Yeah.
All right, so. All right, so, what we're gonna be looking for next is, we will obviously give you more time, but I just wanted to get a quick, straw poll, if I may, on direction, and I think we've received that, but, by, June 1, we will be looking for in the next 2 weeks, feedback from you on the very specific items related to the logo concepts and messaging, and then the preferred direction, and of course, your final selections by June 1st. If we get that beforehand, we have an idea already, which is great. Thank you very much. And then what happens on our end is once we have confirmation of that, we will move very quickly to put together final assets, which will include the brand guide, logo use, colors, topography, messaging, etc. And then begin planning the workshops, which will include members from all of the people that we interviewed before, whether it's Parks and Rec or the Chamber or Visit St. Pete Chamber, to find out how can we all work together and bring together that unity that is so desperately needed in order to make this all work. And that's what we're looking forward to in the next implementation stages. Thank you everyone for your time today, and we look forward to meeting again. Thank you.
Move to item 5 on the agenda, director's report.
Good afternoon. Jesus Nino, CRA Executive Director, and thank you for your patience. We have a lot of wonderful items on the agenda, as you see, in the next CRA agenda. I don't have too much as far as the director's report, since this was a special meeting, but I do want to basically speak on 2 items. One is the Placer AI data that we're starting to use. Staff starting to become more and more proficient in providing that additional information, and hopefully as we get more used to it, we'll even be more deeper into how to use the product. But right now, you're starting to see the realities of the numbers from what's estimated and what actually is out there. So hopefully you're appreciating that. The next item is that we do want to remind the public that we do have a grad chalk walk this year again, celebrating the class of 2026 and celebrating the graduations for Clearwater High School and Countryside High School. We're excited. In addition, staff is starting to meet with the community. That means the merchants, that means the residents, that means any other organizations in downtown, to kind of just let them know about the graduation that's occurring here in downtown. And I did want to show you a few items here for the public. This is more of the advertisement for the grad chalk walk class of 2026. And here to follow are the art pieces that are going to be installed.
So I just wanted to provide just some feedback. So this design here, this is actually not, Ann Lopez, this piece here will actually not be in chalk. This piece is actually gonna be vinyl. So it'll be a piece that we can use at multiple times. So Parks and Rec staff, because the graduations are 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, they're gonna move them around as the sun, but this is also a 3D piece. So there's a specific spot you can stand at, and it'll actually look like you're on the rocket ship. So, but this will actually be a vinyl piece that we can wrap up and use at future graduations.
Now, the rest are the chalk walk, the chalk are correct. Sure. The next one. Other than that, we're excited about all the activations occurring in downtown. That concludes my director's report.
Thank you.
Any questions for that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6 on the agenda, board members to be heard. That's probably already in for 2 hours. Hearing none, we'll move to item 7 on the agenda, and that is to adjourn the May 18, 2026 meeting of City of Clearwater downtown hall. We will check some nameplates up here and recess for a few minutes while we reconvene the minutes.
Will they reconfigure what?
I don't know, but whatever.
That was the worst sales bullshit I ever heard. That was some used car salesman bullshit, timeshare, whoop-de-doo. What are they looking for?
What
There's
are
no
they-
open business. What are you
Find
gonna
what?
find?
I'm gonna be looking for.
Scientology and closed businesses?
Walking around empty.
That was a load of bull. Oh my God. Oh, chat, that whole sales thing was so weak sauce. God, I hope the city didn't spend more than $8 max for a stupid business card. Oh yeah, that'll solve the problems. Ain't like he got the world's most dangerous evil cult who bought the town, making it impossible to do any business. You know, what the hell are you gonna find downtown, chat? Every last business is closed, or the store, I mean, it's empty. There's no businesses anyway. There's a pizza place and a dueling piano bar and a sports bar. I've seen absolutely nobody in the sports bar, nobody in the pizza place, and yeah. Here's a logo. That was so funny. This will solve your problem. Not 3,000 weirdos in a vest. That's not hurting everything. And psychotic landlords. That's not hurting anything.
They did a beautiful job on all that marketing. Beautiful marketing, beautiful logos.
I could give them 10 of those campaigns in an hour.
And beautiful, yeah.
In an hour.
Campaign. However,
10 of them.
none of that has any meaning. It's vapid and empty because there's nothing in Clearwater. There's Scientology. There's like 4 restaurants. No one, they're not telling you
Nobody's coming to downtown Clearwater for,
They're not.
for what? For what? There's literally nothing. You're gonna see
So that was
dozens of cult members.
vapid and empty and meaningless. That was a lot of talk for nothing.
That was the big bollocks,
Can you
boy.
open up a bar or a restaurant first? Clearwater's known for music. Have you? Honey, you-
Where?
Right? Clearwater's
In my
known-
car? What are they talking about?
Well, they just had a Country Thunder, was it like a 3 or 4 day event here at the Coachman? And all of these city council members were there for free in the VIP tent. They were all given tickets.
Oh, yeah.
All given free drinks. They all had a wonderful time. That's about it. Country Thunder. And that was moved from St. Pete. That wasn't even an event for Clearwater. That was an event that was happening in St. Pete. And St. Pete and Treasure Island said, we don't want it. So they moved it up here somehow just in time. We had a bunch of people running around in cowboy hats and cowboy boots last week, which was really insane because you never see that around there. That's it. Clearwater's known for music, restaurants. There's 3 restaurants. 3 that no one comes back to. You only end up there by mistake. And they're in Scientology-owned buildings, and the Scientologists are trying to burn them out of their own businesses. So there's nothing else. Find what? What are we finding?
There's nothing to find. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. A business card and some posters. Who the hell?
Clearwater and find air.
Where the hell are they going to find that?
That's all they're going to find. There's nothing here. I mean, beautiful marketing.
But it's a nothing burger. I could get Chat GPT to give me several hundred of those.
There's nothing. There's nothing.
I could give you 7. I mean, you know what that was? That was like going to your local business card place, and he could hook you up with hundreds of different things exactly like that you can choose from anytime you want. Nothing to think about.
That's like me telling me I'm going to cook you a whole English Sunday roast, and then you come to Clearwater and find it.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. You'd have to go get a burger.
It's ridiculous.
So these people in suits are just so late. It's just ridiculous. I'm trying not to bust out laughing. Wow. Yeah, Willie Nelson was here. But I couldn't smell any wind. It was really cold. And a lot of the people were leaving because it was raining. That whole thing isn't covered. There's only like a partial area that's covered, which in a place that rains so much, to do outdoor concerts is ridiculous. Why should they do it if they weren't going to think about, you know?
It rains every other day in the summer, so.
It rains every other day in the summer. That's when you want to do your concerts and everyone gets wet. Now, Mark Bunker's made it into the ballot, so we need to get Mark Bunker onto this day. Because this is just silly. They're just talking a bunch of empty nothingness and chewing gum. Chewing gum violently.
But you know what downtown Clearwater really needed was a new business card. that's what
Yeah,
that's what they needed.
Because no one even knows that Clearwater exists. Let's have a new logo for Clearwater. For what? To bought a tote bag that someone just bought. Someone just bought a tote bag. That's great. Well, that's what we're waiting on is the Save the Garden agenda. Yeah, the property giveaway sale. Yeah. So that's what we're here for.
Chat GPT tells you to go to St. Pete.
Too early, but I don't know. I want to talk about this anyway because Scientology proposed a plan to good life.
That is funny.
It's just a bunch of lies. And then these people keep coming up with these vapid, empty concepts.
There's literally nothing resembling nightlife in downtown Clearwater. Nothing. You can go to the only place I would tell anyone to go is that the dueling piano bar, and that's because that guy's cool. He knows Scio sucks, so that guy's cool. The pizza guy's pro Scio, so he can kiss my ass. And the sports bar, it's horrible. There's nobody there. I mean, I would advise you to go to downtown Clearwater if you're hiding out. There's nobody there. But I'm sure the business cards will take care of it. And what has to happen is they need to make sure everything the church gets from this point forward is leased. That's it.
Charlie Poe Street in Clearwater, which
And then, of course, don't sell them the street. Save the garden, because they'll never let anyone walk down there again. And that's all they're trying to do is make it impossible for people to even get near it. You know? They want there to be a nice buffer zone between those places, you know, Fort Harrison and everything. They want a nice buffer zone there. And the garden, saving the garden, that's just the start, you know, of it. So
get in his ear. It looked like the logo for San Antonio.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Tony's cool.
I know it's so hard to listen to this. I need to go to the ferry room. Will you watch my seat?
Yeah.
Oh, my hip.
Oh my God.
Hello, chat. Well, actually, the beach is amazing. You go to Clearwater Beach. It's fantastic, and it's always packed. I mean, it's packed. There's tons of restaurants, tons of places to shop, ice cream, you name it. The beach in Clearwater is fantastic, but downtown Clearwater is an absolute joke.
This time we'll call to order the May 18, 2026 meeting of the City of Clearwater Community Redevelopment Agency. Move to item 2.1 of the agenda.
Approve the minutes of the April 2026 CRA meeting.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Move to agenda item 3, since it's being heard regarding item not in today's CRA. Anyone to be heard on the CRA item that is not on. And seeing none, we'll move to item 4.1.
Good afternoon, Jesus Nino, CRA Executive Director. I'm going to introduce you to Ms. Tasha Hadley, our CRA Specialist with the event assignment.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tasha Hadley, CRA Specialist. And today I'm pleased to recognize Downtown Pizza Bar and Grill as our 2026 Business Spotlight winner. Located at 428 Cleveland Street in downtown Clearwater, this restaurant is a popular destination for food, entertainment, and community gatherings within the district. Co-owner Dan Mahoney acquired the restaurant in late 2024 and continues to bring new energy to the downtown Clearwater dining scene. Conveniently located near the Bay Care Sound and Capitol Theater, this restaurant provides residents and visitors with a welcoming place to gather before and after events. Known for its New York-style thin crust pizza, this restaurant is also popular for its wings, pasta, seafood, and Italian favorites. Throughout the week, guests can enjoy entertainment nights featuring music bingo, trivia, karaoke, and helping create a lively atmosphere on the Cleveland Street corridor. Beyond its weekly entertainment, the restaurant also participates in community-focused initiatives like Run for Brews, a weekly 5K social run, and Hello Cleveland Street, a concert series alongside neighboring businesses bringing live music to the 400 block. To help share their story, the CRA Public Communications team collaborated to create a video highlighting the restaurant and showing its growing role within the community. The video has been shared across our social media platforms, and you can find a full article available on our website at myclearwatercra.com. Downtown Pizza Bar and Grill supports the city and CRA's shared goals of strengthening downtown activity, supporting local businesses, and encouraging community engagement within our redevelopment areas. At this time, we invite you to view the video showcasing Downtown Pizza Sports Bar and Grill.
Hi, my name is Dan Mahoney. I'm the one of the co-owners and manager of Downtown Pizza Sports Bar and Grill, which we acquired in November of 2024. People feel comfortable coming to a concert, have a beer, watch a sports event, get ready to go to the sound. We have trivia here on Wednesday night, karaoke on Thursday, music bingo on Tuesday. 4 merchants here on the street assemble Hello Cleveland Street concerts, which we've done quite successfully since January. We've had about 10 of them located right outside across the street. We think those events are gonna really help foster a sense of community here. They've been a lot of fun. We are best known for our pizza. It's a New York style thin crust pizza, which is really delicious. Chicken wings, shrimp scampi, chicken marsala, chicken piccata, eggplant parmesan. We really take a lot of time and care in preparing all the items that we serve. We're open daily during the week from 11 o'clock till 10 at night. And then on the weekends, on Friday and Saturday, or if there's a big sound or Capitol Theater concert, we'll go till 12 o'clock, sometimes beyond that.
What a joke. He's one of like 5 businesses. You have a 20% chance of winning. Oh my God. And he's a Scio simp. What a joke.
I still want anyone blocked. Great. In 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh my God. Boo. Piss.
Congratulations, Dan. We hope Downtown Pizza continues to be as popular as it is today.
Yeah, 20% chance of winning.
Yeah, I'll just quickly say it's been a pleasure to be a part of the downtown community, and I'm, as was previously just stated, trying to do my part to be making it as much of a destination as possible, and I can see the likelihood of increasing, daily, monthly. So I think it always is a team effort. I'm pleased to be part of that team. Thanks.
Move to agenda item 4.2.
Downtown revitalization.
This is your particular item to discuss any items you wish to discuss not on the agenda.
Mayor, thank you. I think we have some pretty big discussions coming up here relatively shortly, in a week or so, so I don't want to beat this one up, but I know we're all very excited and hope-filled for the direction that we're going in our downtown and the activation, not just on our county properties, but our city properties, as well as our downtown collaborating partners that are really activating downtown. And the energy from the branding consultants that were here really tells that story and helps us tell it. So excited. Thank you.
Move to item agenda item 4.2.
Sure, Mr. Mayor and the council that are on the dais, we're going to defer this item, which is the results of the evaluation committee results for property on South MLK until June. So just to ask if we come with this item, and we'll bring it back at that time.
Any objection? Not, then we'll move to agenda item 5.2.
CRA Director's Report for May 2026.
We can get the report up on the screen, please. We're up there. Thank you again, Jesus Nino, CRA Director, for the record. Today's report was pretty exciting compared to all the rest of the items you heard from DG and earlier. So this is for the Director's Report for May of 2026. We'll give you updates and for you, for the public, for downtown CRA updates, North Greenwood CRA updates, and property distribution updates. So as far as for the downtown, we're excited to inform all of you and the public that Emily's Family Restaurant does have new ownership. Mr. Nicholas Costas, if you haven't met him, I would encourage you to go say hello to him. So from what I understand, he has plans to improve the visual aesthetics of the restaurant. It's been there historically for many years and decades probably. But staff has been in communication with them and to see what kind of assistance we can provide them, any type of grants we may have, or just general city assistance to have that business friendly atmosphere towards them. Of course, the Osceola Garage, parking garage is going to be our next item for our May 28th, for our May 26th, 2026 community outreach meeting right here at the library chambers. So for the community out there, this meeting will take place from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. right here in the council chambers. You're invited. We also have city staff that's going to be there from Economic Development and Housing and Public Works to answer any questions. These meetings we're starting to get more and more attendance from the community, so we really appreciate that. That means that our staff is spreading the word more and more. The Reimagine Clearwater Main Library, a cultural destination item. Staff is continuing to work diligently to move this item forward. We do have two staff members, one from Amber from Arts and Culture and one of our CRH staff members. They're going to be traveling up to Philadelphia this week for the annual meeting for the 2026 American Alliance of Museums Conference. So they're already actively trying to book individuals to interview or talk to see if they have any interest in coming to Clearwater. So hopefully they come back with a lot of information and a lot of good leads. So for downtown engagement, we're starting to ramp up our efforts as far as our community engagement. And I'm using that word intentionally, community, because that means more than just the merchants. It means pretty much anyone that resides, does business, or is in our downtown. So staff conducted 26 engagements. Recently, this was with merchants. This one is a small little win, but we have been kind of working on this for a while. This kind of started all because of the 500 block Cleveland Street activation initiative. So it kind of spread a little bit further than those 2 blocks. This is the installation of bicycle racks for the community to use from the 400 block all the way to the 700 block. In addition, we also have some installed at Ricardo Park. This is some of the projects that are coming, at least being advertised for our downtown. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but this one has been out there in the media a lot, so I decided to share it here as well. This is for the $50 million entertainment destination plan for Clearwater, or the EVO Entertainment. And I also wanted to also highlight that there is demolition underway at the future site, the 700 block of Cleveland Street. In addition to this, as you're already aware, there's demolition permits that are being pulled for the 600 block of Cleveland Street. Also, the Good Life Showroom opens at 331 Cleveland Street. So if you need more information for the community out there watching, you can always go to the Cleveland Street Alliance.com website to obtain additional information. For North Greenwood, the update is that North Greenwood, the North Ford Elementary School, the roof rack is already installed, so that'll prevent any additional leakage as far as from rainwater. I apologize if this mic is completely up here. I moved it around too much. So we've already put the wrap up, installed it over the elementary schools that prevent any additional rain leaking into the building and causing even further damage. So staff is also planning to do some type of community event out there. I'm not sure if Mr. Battle would like to say anything about that. Night at North Ward or whatever name we come up with. So we're starting to plan that internally with Parks and Rec, Planning, Economic Development and Housing, Mr. Battle's office, and the lead will be Ms. Audra Aha, Ms. Economic Development, in partnership with CRA staff. And we'll bring you more details on that community event once we're it's fully vetted out. You want to add anything to that, Mr. Battle?
No, good to go. Great job. Thank you.
And this is a little bit more statistics of what we're doing. We're still in the pre-marketing phase. So staff is continuing to meet with individuals that might be interested in submitting a proposal when that window does open up. And all the media coverage has just been extraordinary. Mr. Battle, and a few other staff members have been interviewed as far as what we're doing with North Ford in the future. As far as the North Greenwood Community Advisory Committee, we did have a special meeting that occurred to discuss the 706 North Missouri Avenue project, also known as the Armory. And our next meeting is proposed to be Wednesday, June 3rd, from 5:30 to 6 p.m. at the North Greenwood Recreation Center, room 1. So anyone that's out there watching this, you're invited to attend. As far as property disposition, as was noted earlier, the property at Washington Avenue, the MLK site has been deferred to the next meeting. And we'll make sure that all the developers are here to answer any questions if you may have them. Other properties, we're moving kind of through the process as far as moving certain properties from city ownership to CRA ownership, and once that's complete, we'll quickly start advertising and noticing some of those properties. Some of the more prominent sites are out there are, for instance, what we call the creative contractor site located at 618 Drew Street. There's a lot of interest from developers right now in that particular property. So once it is transferred over to the CRA, we'll quickly notice that particular property. In addition, we have the site located at 115 MLK that's currently owned by the CRA. And once our legal team gets a little bit more caught up, we're gonna go ahead and, as far as what they're doing, it's all our properties, a lot of work. It's a big list, and it's a lot of work under a few attorneys that are dealing with that. So once they're caught up a little bit, we're gonna quickly release a notice of disposition for the 115 MLK property located there in the Prospect Lake District of downtown. That concludes my presentation. For any questions?
Questions? Councilman Teixeira.
Back to the North Board, I see that you've, got some email replies, telephone inquiries, some meetings for help, and some site tours. What was the feedback that you got? Would you like to share with us?
So as far as, and I do have staff back here, so if you wish, you can come up as well. But as far as some of the feedback we got, this is an extraordinary site, extraordinary building, has a lot of potential for us, those individuals, this is what they're saying, to come in here, potentially do something with the building. Obviously, it is historic. We would like to kind of preserve it as much as possible. So that does throw in a little bit extra cost, but right now we're hearing nothing but great things as far as the potential to redevelop that site.
A piece to it, and this may be something that Jesus may not want to say because it's not as positive, but one of the groups toured it had significant interest at first, and they came back and told us that the cost to preserve it or for their project is just too expensive based on what they want us to do. So we're hearing excited about it, opportunities, but this particular user has a very specific function, and it would have required them to renovate it to a standard that cost more. And of course, they wanted to do something that was educational based, not profit based, and didn't have necessarily I'd say, profit driven approach to it, but more of a use potential with respect to the end user. Whereas the other uses that he's speaking about, most of the interest has been in the private development space for mixed use development in terms of how do you use the existing buildings and what can you build new, or how can you build new product on the site. So I just want to make that clarification because I think that's what you want to know is like, what are they telling us in addition to, hey, look, we like it, it's great, is it going to be free, is it we're going to have to pay for it, but that is kind of a little bit more specific feedback for you.
Yes, thank you.
Other questions? And seeing none, thank you. Report. Let's move to item 6 on the agenda, and that is to adjourn the May 18, 2026 meeting of the City of Clearwater redevelopment.
They must have done it before we got here.
May 18. We'll move to item 2.1 on the agenda. What is he paying? Presentations.
I don't know.
We have our maid service awards. And I would like to call forward Matthew Yidich from our city attorney's office. We have 3 awards today. First 2 are 5-year awards.
That's awesome.
The lawyer, I'm sure you're.
Debbie, that's funny. Who the hell is this guy? What is he doing? What does he work for Monster? Is he handing out checks? What is he doing?
No idea.
If you'd like to come back for the next work session, we'll talk. Thank you for your service to our city. So I'd like to call forward Brett Marchand, General Support Services.
Oh, these are awards. These are awards they're giving out.
Oh, awards. Oh, no.
This is the palm pressing part of the program. You want to sneeze into your hand and then put it out to shake.
The next one's a 25-year employee award, and we are going to talk about the so I'd like to call forward Anthony Tedesco from our
Marketing packet. Is that when they get an award for marketing packet?
Oh my God.
It is a privilege to recognize Division Chief Anthony Tedesco for his extraordinary dedication and more than 36 years of service to the fire and emergency medical services profession. Chief Tedesco joined Clearwater Fire and Rescue in May of 2001 and has served our community with unwavering commitment for more than 2 decades. During that time, he has risen through the ranks from firefighter EMT to lead medic, fire lieutenant, fire medic lieutenant, and fire EMS coordinator. In 2017, his leadership, experience, and dedication to excellence led to his promotion to Division Chief of EMS. Chief Tedesco exemplifies the highest standards of professional excellence and lifetime learning. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing, graduated cum laude, and holds a master's degree in management, strategy, and leadership from Michigan State University. As a graduate of the inaugural Executive Leadership Academy, he continues to serve as a mentor and role model for others, helping develop and inspire the next generation of EMTs and paramedics to perform at his highest level. His influence extends well beyond the city of Clearwater. Chief Tedesco is an active leader within the Florida Fire Chiefs Association, where he serves as co-chair of the EMS section. Locally, he plays a vital role in strengthening county-wide emergency medical services by chairing multiple committees focused on maintaining and improving the quality of care provided to residents. His leadership and expertise are also recognized at the state level, where he contributes to numerous EMS committees dedicated to advancing emergency medical services across Florida. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Chief Tedesco is known for his proactive spirit, collaborative leadership, and his commitment to the health and well-being of our workforce. He is supported by his husband Leo and their beloved dog Angel. Chief Tedesco's career reflects the very principles of a high-performing government and our commitment to providing superior public service. Through his leadership, innovation, and dedication to continuous improvement, he has strengthened emergency medical services for our community while maintaining future leaders and advancing best practices across the region and the state. His work ensures that residents and visitors alike receive the highest level of care when they need it the most, embodying the City of Clearwater's mission to serve with excellence, professionalism, and compassion. Thank you, John.
Congratulations, Chief. Thanks for your service to the city. Okay, we'll move to item 3.1.
Informational update on Opportunity Zone 2.0 redesignation and nomination submission for census tracts 258, 262, 264.01, and 264.
Cheryl's battery died. My battery's okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Council, to our city manager, assistant city managers, other respective city officials on the dais. Today's presentation really provides an informational update regarding the city's Opportunity 2.0 nomination and redesignation efforts. As you So to provide you a brief overview of what we're actually be presenting on, is generally just giving a general overview. Obviously, there is an existing opportunity zone within the city of Clearwater that mostly consists of the downtown Clearwater area. However, we'll get into the details of why that one was not renominated. We'll give you a quick kind of idea comparison between 1.0 iteration and the 2.0 iteration, as well as why redesignation matters, as well as the process, the timeline, what census tracts we ultimately selected, the potential opportunity zone investment areas, and of course, the next steps. So, a general overview is that opportunity zones, basically, the first iteration of it was created under the 2017 Federal Tax Cuts and Jobs Act under the Trump administration, and as a federal government economic development program to encourage investors to reinvest capital gains in those economically distressed areas and really just serve as another tool, ultimately, in the economic development toolbox to encourage more private investment in economically distressed areas of the city or in communities across the country. And so obviously we have an existing designation. If you were to go on our website and under economic development, the GIS website, you'll see under our special incentive areas, this is actually one of those designations that we currently have. We've had it since the 2017 Act. And generally speaking, the goal of it is still the same. However, as most 1.0 iterations of the designation, it required a lot less structure, if you will. The first time around, a lot less permanent, which obviously kind of went to the fact of why it may have not been as mostly utilized as it could have been. Under the updated federal opportunity zone, currently is where we are now with a new iteration coming to us, the 2.0 version, which was established under the 2025 One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And it requires every community across the country to update, redesignate, and nominate new census tract areas based on different criteria from the United States Census Bureau and other data sets. The existing downtown Clearwater Opportunity Zone designation is pictured to your screen to the right there. That is a kind of overview of the area. It's really Census Tract 259, but if you break it down, you'll see it'll say 259.01 and 259.02. This is really generally just a real quick snapshot of how the processes generally work. You have a qualified opportunity zone, and right now, we don't have one for 2.0, we have one for 1.0, that's a given for 1.0, but the 2.0 is what we need to be redesignated and nominated based on current data. As it stands now, all communities in the state of Florida that have expressed interest in 2.0 have had to submit an application to the state of Florida, to the Department of Commerce, which ultimately gets decided upon by Governor DeSantis, who will make the recommendation, as other governors around the country, to then go and make the recommendations as part of a package to U.S. Treasury to confirm. Next, you would create what is called a qualified opportunity fund, and usually that is private equity. That is not a city run fund, that is a private run fund that is formed. There's an investment restrictions would apply based on the current tax code and the way things are structured there. It is formally structured usually as a partnership or a corporation. And then we segue into what are the eligible investments under the opportunity zone from 1.0. It's business and real estate project investments. They must be in qualified opportunity zones, which is our role in the process of looking to nominate and compete to get that designation. The capital gains reinvested, will be then reinvested back into that designated zone. And then we encourage more long-term investment. So, the big question there, why not include downtown Clearwater? Existing downtown Clearwater was evaluated under the new criteria, new guidelines for the federal economic development eligibility criteria of opportunity zones, and it no longer qualified based on those data sets. So we had to, based on increased private investment, redevelopment activity, other positive things for downtown, we had to eliminate it. It would no longer fit the criteria as an economically distressed area according to census and other data sets from the federal government. And here is just a really quick table to summarize the true key differences between 1.0 and 2.0. You can kind of see the applicability between 1.0 and 2.0. As it stands now, because of the Act in 2025 of the One Big Beautiful Bill, that you have a permanence to this program, which is attracting a lot more interest this time around as well, compared to the previous years. And the major eligible investments, as you can see, has changed from just strictly real estate to now being more about real estate and commercial business investment as well. And so why does it matter to Clearwater? We want to be competitive. We want to compete not only within our own county, among our municipal partners, but we also want to compete regionally, nationally, statewide. We want to be very competitive. So this is another tool to do just that. And it creates an opportunity for us to have a qualified opportunity fund into the future and not just have it fade out under 1.1. Oh, excuse me, 1.0. And so the nominated 2.0 census tracts that we selected is on the screen depicted. It is 258, 262, 264.01, and 264.02. So here's our process and here's our timeline. So we have, as staff, we work closely with Pinellas County Economic Development, as well as also get some prompts, if you will, to Hale Innovation was helpful with us getting some information as well on public projects. But basically, we put together a summary that focused on these census tracts. And we went in and we looked at the different economic distress indicators and all the other strategic investment opportunities that we have. And we summarized that information. And for each census tract, per the state's requirement, we submitted information about those areas based on current projects, private and or public, in those census tracts. And so just to give you a snapshot of where those census tracts, generally speaking, includes the Ross Norton Park area for 258, for 262, it includes the majority of North Greenwood area. 264.01 is bordered north by 4th Street, to the east by South Highland, and to the south by Lakeview Avenue, and to the west by South Missouri Avenue. Census tract 264.02 really just includes downtown Gateway area. So a portion of the downtown did stay in, but not the majority of it. And so what were some of the selection factors that we had to base it on based on federal government guidelines? Poverty and income thresholds, median household income disparities, as you see other areas as well, redevelopment investment potential. And we had to use data sources that I alluded to earlier, Census Bureau, American Community Survey, and Pinellas County Economic Development was a good help to that effort. Let's get the technical assistance needed. Some example projects we submitted. We submitted the Grove Business Container Village project, very exciting project. The Yo Mama's Foods as well. We looked at workforce affordable housing projects across the 4 census tracts. City public infrastructure capital improvements, whether they were in public utilities, public works, just to provide some context for the reviewers of the governor when they're looking at the projects overall. That they're able to see that the city has invested, has plans to invest in those areas as well on the infrastructure side, which is also good to the overall narrative that we're trying to present to the federal government. So, we come down to the next steps, pending state review and determination. Right now, we're in that area of review, by Florida Commerce staff, their executives, as well as the governor, reviews those statewide nominations, and he will start making those recommendations based on the current timeline in July of this year. Assuming if we were able to get the designation for 2.0 for those census tracts I mentioned, it would become effective January 1st, 2027. The transition period allows overlap between the existing and new opportunity zone up until, I believe, 2028. And then at that point, obviously, if we will get the designation, we will engage the community on a more detailed structured schedule basis and to plan out projects that the opportunity zone fund, which hopefully will be created with this new designation, to encourage more reinvestment in those communities through this particular program. I do want to take the time to acknowledge support we received from Pinellas County, which was very helpful in getting us the data that we get from Pinellas County Economic Development staff, as well as we received letters of support from Amplify Clearwater, from Baycare, Wharton Plant Hospital, Monin, Zulai Kitchen, Your Mamas. Generally speaking, we want to show some private support for this. This is really rooted in private funds and business investment and real estate investment. So we want to show that support, generally speaking, and so that we were able to do. And I also have with me Anita Berry, who is with Johnson Stewart and Government Strategies, the local government practice director, who is here to answer the lobbying part of our due diligence for this particular designation.
Afternoon, Mayor, council members. It's so wonderful to see you all not in Tallahassee. And thank you for the opportunity to be here and for the opportunity to work with Chris and the team on the opportunities of 2.0 designation. As soon as we received the call from the city, we began immediately engaging with the Department of Commerce. We have had multiple conversations with them now about the merits of the city's proposed census tracts. We have also helped to facilitate a conversation directly between department leadership that included the deputy secretary of the department who's overseeing these efforts with the city, and Pinellas County Economic Development also participated in that conversation. Not only allowed us the opportunity to discuss some of the merits of our proposed census tracts, but to also ask a lot of questions to inform the information that the city ultimately submitted in the applications. We're also engaging with the governor's office. Certainly they're going to have a significant role in the selection of these zones. We do anticipate that this process is going to be significantly more competitive than the first time around. The state has fewer zones to choose from. They are also being a lot pickier in the zones that they select. They want projects that are ready to go, that are properly zoned. They had a lot of zones last go around that were selected, and then they saw no development within those zones. So they want to make sure that if the zones are selected, that the opportunity is going to be utilized. And I think certainly the zones that you all have and the work that this council and the city are doing create a really exciting opportunity for the state. So we're having those conversations with the governor's office to certainly advocate for selection of your zones. Chris mentioned several letters of support from the private sector. We are also going to be working on having our state delegation members weigh in, hopefully a few letters of support, but also we'll be asking them to make direct calls to the department and to the governor's office to advocate. So we're here to help however we can, and certainly want the city's proposals to be successful. So I'm happy to take any questions, but it is wonderful to see you all.
Yes.
Councilman O'Neill.
Question, appreciate it. Thank you for all the work, Ms. Anita. Thank you for your work and the team as well. It is a pleasure to not see you in Tallahassee. And Clearwater, the whole dais feels the same. To help me better understand, is the governor approving this on an individual census tract basis or an application in its entirety?
I think both. It just depends on which census tracts have the greater impact, but I believe it's a combination of both.
So he does have the ability to rule out some and select some.
If so choose.
Gotcha, thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you, Chris. Nina, thank you guys for being here. I do have a few little questions because, you know, I think opportunity zones, right now, with government, there can be a little bit of overreach at times. You know, can open a back door where there's something becomes a mechanism for government directed redevelopment rather than removing barriers that the government puts for private investment to come in and take care of things. So in that, is the city's role here just simply nominating the census tracts to implicitly endorse those specific private developments?
Well, yes, sir. So basically, we're facilitating the designation. We're advocating for us to be designated, number one. And with that designation, we are facilitating an environment for that fund to be set up within those census tract areas. And, you know, whether it's alongside of our CRA or public infrastructure projects we have as inducements for the private capital to flow into those areas. So we're just facilitating basically at this point.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you very much.
I just want to say, you know, it's ironic, on one hand, it's really nice to see downtown having so much progress, but that very progress is what is qualified as for getting that great tax rate opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Good with that.
Yes. Just like to say, this, the enterprise zones 2.0, opportunity zones 2.0, the administration really, you know, they purposely made them more robust and hope that it'll really have an impact on the campus. So it's something that we want to participate in, to really be a driver. And then, so glad to see us doing that. Dr. Johnson, I was with her last week and she said that you and your team were doing a great job in putting these applications together, that they were much more detailed than they used to be. Governor's requiring quite a bit more information, so appreciate you fighting through that to do it. And appreciate your help, Nina, and your team in helping us get it through. I do want to say too that I am struck by these three of these census tracts being south of Gulf Bay because there are some other folks who study economic opportunity in Clearwater, and it's that portion of South Greenwood, south of Gulf Bay that doesn't get as much attention or hasn't historically in Clearwater as much as north of Gulf Bay. But there's a great need and a great opportunity south of Gulf Bay, and so it's good to see these three tracks identified because we've got some folks in particularly South Greenwood that, need a handout too, and it's good to see them included in this. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you for your report. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 4.1.
Approve co-sponsorship and waiver of requested city fees for 6 high-impact co-sponsored special events and funding for the community event co-sponsorship program.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, City's leadership, Chris Cook, Parks and Recreation Senior Manager. The item before you today is in accordance with the city's special event co-sponsorship ordinance. That requires us to do an annual review and approval of co-sponsored special events as part of our budget process. Per the ordinance, applications for city co-sponsorships are submitted annually for events that occur in the following fiscal year. This item is requesting approval for co-sponsorships and waiver of city fees for 6 high-impact special events, along with the funding for the community event co-sponsorship program for the 26-27 budget process. The total estimates of value in-kind services for the high-impact events is approximately $353,000. This reflects about a 31% decrease from last year's request. This significant reduction is due to the removal of Clearwater Sea Blues Festival and the Clearwater Turkey Trot from the high-impact list, as well as reducing overall across the board to all of those high-impacted events, aligning with citywide budget goals and encouraging greater self-sufficiency amongst event organizers. We've met with each of these groups, as I referenced earlier today, to help prepare them for these and to provide them recommendations for how they can reduce costs and increase efficiencies. The item also includes $110,000 in funding for the community event co-sponsorship programs, which will continue to support community events. I should mention that these are based outside the DDB area, while maintaining the program's specific objective to reduce long-term dependency on city funding. One note to make with this is even with these reductions that we're seeing and recommending, we're seeing an overall increase in the volume of activity that is coming in and taking place within the city of Clearwater through events with Ruth Eckerd Hall, which was mentioned earlier, DDB funded events that they see and approve, and just overall more and more activity coming into the city. So with that, our staff recommends approval of this item, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions on this agenda? It's on consent, I think. So do we have consent? Do we have consent? Thank you. Correct. Okay, agenda item 4.0.
Approve an increase to the existing purchase order with Central Florida Contractors, Inc. for the 2025 sidewalk project.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Matthew Anderson, Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. The item before you is to increase our current purchase order with Central Florida Contracting for sidewalks throughout the city. Currently, Public Works has $1.8 million for the sidewalk contract, and Parks and Rec has $200,000. We're recommending increasing it to 3.5 total, giving Public Works $2 million and Parks and Rec $500,000 for this year, and subsequent renewals of that contract. We need this money to be increased so that we can continue to make our sidewalks, not just in the right of way, but in our parks, safe and ADA compliant. Glad to answer any questions at this time.
Let's move on.
How many, I guess you measure our sidewalks in miles, but how many feet do you replace or do per year?
It depends. So we have different categories. You've got tree preservation sidewalks, so that costs a little bit more than standard sidewalk. I don't have an exact number. We do it by square footage. It's a lot. I know Parks and Rec alone, I think we did about 26,000 square feet last year between contracting and Public Works. I can't speak to.
Is that new sidewalk or is that grinding of what the sidewalk?
It's replacement of panels of sidewalk. Sometimes it's one panel, sometimes it's as many as, and it just depends on where it's at. These aren't new additions to sidewalk, Parks and Rec does this, but it's repairs.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
I think Councilmember Aldrin already hit my question, or you answered his question by answering mine. This would include that tree canopy, like where they put the rebar through it, so it kind of floats over the roots, all contiguous, not creating more cracks. Correct. Thank you.
Just have one question. Several years ago, we were like, somehow, we had fallen well behind and fixing our sidewalks, and we're catching up. Where are we at now? Do we feel like this appropriation, this year's plan has got us even where we were, and still catching up? Falling behind.
I can't speak to the right of way sidewalks, I can speak to the Parks and Rec. I think Marcus is gonna come speak to that.
That would be a question for Marcus.
Yeah. But Parks and Rec, we're doing well as far as getting our sidewalks.
This is just.
Ron, Marcus, you're up.
As Mayor, works with Public Works, so, yes, actually, our 5-year sidewalk, plan is working well. So when they came looking for more money, we had, dramatically picked up our pace, which is why they're adding some money in for us, so, we got a few under us right now and we're running.
Thank you. And thank you. Do we have consent? We have consent on this agenda item. Thank you. Agenda item 4.3.
Authorize purchase orders to Choo Lawn Equipment and Ruckus Investments for as-needed purchase, diagnostics, and repair services.
Good afternoon again, Mayor, Matthew Anderson, City Board Parks and Rec Assistant Director.
The item before you is for citywide purchase and repair of two-cycle equipment along with battery-powered equipment. This contract was put out through invitation bid. We had 2 respondents. We wanted to award both respondents with a piece of the contract. Due to the sheer number of departments that utilize this contract, not just part of Public Works, Public Utilities, and other city departments, having just one vendor is not a good choice for us because you can tend to overwhelm them. So having 2 options, if one gets behind on repairs, you have that other option. Works really well. This total contract is for $310,000, and it's distributed out to the various departments. I'd be glad to answer any questions at this time.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I don't have any, so I'd be curious, the battery equipment, I mean, I do have it in the fire department for big type of tasks, covering cars and stuff. How does it do with longevity for longevity and those types of things versus conventional two-cycle?
It's come a long way, particularly in the last 5 years. When we first started demoing some of the battery stuff 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was fairly efficient, but it is starting to get to the point where you can replace some of the things, not on every crew, but on some of the crews. They've made the battery life a lot better and the equipment stronger, so it is vastly improving and becoming competitive with two-cycle gas equipment.
Awesome, that's what I was kind of going at, is the battery life, is that sustainable for crews that are out there almost all day, or they have half the truck with batteries on recharge, and changing them out every 30 minutes because they can't get through one cycle. So if they're getting better, that's awesome to hear, thank you.
They are, this one.
Anything else? Not, do we have consent?
Yes.
We have consent on 4.5.1.
Approved to vacate a lake drainage and utility easement for portion of the east 20-foot portion of lot 12A for new Lake Estate subdivision.
Thank you, Ms. Bright. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council members, City Manager, Mr. Kohler. Okay, the item before you today is a very simple vacation request to remove 20-foot portion from the rear lake drainage and utility easement. The rear easement is 271 feet in length, so we're taking 20 foot away from it. There are public or private utilities within this easement. Legal and Public Works request and have approved this. Any questions, please?
Any questions in the Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Agenda item 6.1.
Authorize an increase of $400,000 with Scholes Door Company and extend the contract term through March 11, 2028.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, City Leadership, Brandon Conrad, General Services Partner. Before you is a requested increased contract 901221 Scholes Door Company by $400,000 and to extend the contract term through March 11th, 2028. This is a Pinellas County contract that we have piggybacked, and we use this contract for preventative maintenance, emergency repairs, replacement work, installation and services, and parts for overhead security floors at city facilities. I have allergies today. This includes fire stations, wastewater treatment facilities, parks and recreation sites, police and other operational buildings. The increase aligns our contract with Pinellas County's extended term and ensures continued coverage for these critical systems. Funding is available in the current budget and in future years addressed through the end budget process. And I'm happy available to address any questions or concerns you have.
Questions on this agenda? Not do we have consent? We have consent on 6.1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 7.1.
Appoint Dan Carpenter for a 4-year term as a trustee of the Clearwater Firefighter Supplemental Trust.
So the lowest will be today. Anyways, I'm here today as I'm the administrator for the Firefighter Supplemental Trust Fund, and one of our current trustees' terms expires the end of June. He is a resident. We do have 2 residents that are on the board, and they're appointed through you guys, so that's why I'm here today. He's expressed interest in giving him a 4-year term, so hopefully.
Right, thank you. Any questions? Not do we have consent?
Yes.
Yeah, consent on Mr. Carver. Thank you. Agenda item 7.2.
Approve an agreement and purchase order with Locality Media LLC for the implementation of fire prevention software and support services.
Mayor, council members, good afternoon. Clearwater Fire and Rescue seeks approval to replace Fire Prevention Mobile with the first new platform to support occupancy management, pre-incident planning, and inspections. The features include GSI mapping, hazardous materials tracking, inspection checklist, violation management, scheduling, and integration with work student response modules. The agreement includes implementation, configuration, data migration, training, and customer support. Clearwater Fire and Rescue will utilize the SourceBluff cooperative contract with First View Holdings Incorporated, receiving a 5% discount. The total contract amount will not exceed $15,910.60, including a one-time implementation fee of $3,400 and a 17-month subscription fee of $12,510.60. Future annual renewals will cost $9,400. Both systems will operate concurrently from June 1st through October 1st of 2026. This is to allow data migration and staff training. Pinellas County will reimburse approximately 11.48% of the total cost, as the software will also support operations in the unincorporated areas of the Clearwater Fire District. With me tonight is Assistant Fire Marshal Bill Fisher, and we're happy to answer any questions if you have.
Any questions on this agenda? Not do we have consent? We have consent. Thank you, Chief. Agenda item 8.1.
Provide direction on the proposed development agreement between MHG Palm Pavilion Hotel LP, Six Flags Planted LLC, and City of Clearwater for property located at 10 Bay Esplanade and 18 Bay Esplanade, providing for the allocation of 91 units from the hotel density reserve under design.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Mayor and Council. As you heard, this is to provide direction on a requested HGA in front of us at 10 and 18 Bay Esplanade. A little bit of a summary on the property. The total of the west and east sides of the property is 1.06 acres. So the western portion will be retaining an existing Palm Pavilion restaurant. The east portion would be demolished and replaced with the development that I'll briefly touch on here in a moment. The property is in the tourist district. The future land use is resort facilities high, and it's in the old Florida district of Beach by Design. The development proposal includes the additional 91 units from the hotel density reserve. Permitted density on the property currently is 50 units per acre, or 53 units. So for a total of 144 units, that's 136 units per acre. The proposed height from base flood elevation is 75 feet. Parking would be on first floor levels, and 173 parking spaces are proposed. There will be proposed access from a north and south entry, from the north from Kendall and from the south from Bay Esplanade. Amenities will include that existing Palm Pavilion restaurant to be preserved. That's in 9,389 square feet, and some small amenity area and miscellaneous back of house uses for a total of 1,480 square feet. The property would propose 9 floors on the building, and as proposed is consistent with the Community Development Code and consistent with Beach by Design and standards for development agreements. The proposal is in compliance with the standards for development agreements, is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and furthers the good vision of Beach Street development and set forth in Beach by Design. I don't think any questions.
Okay, so I just want to get this clear. The Palm Pavilion restaurant itself is going to be stayed, but the parking in the Palm Pavilion hotel, or is that
Will be completely demolished.
that'll be demolished, and then that's going up 9 floors, 144 units in
Correct.
in that area?
Correct. So the The restaurant will be considered as an amenity to that hotel, so the entire site will be the component of the project.
Gotcha. Okay.
Councilmember Lena.
Question, during demolition and building, will any of the regular flow of traffic be disrupted?
I can't answer that now, but I'm, during site review process and MOT and on any permit requirements to be, as little impact as possible.
Vice Mayor.
Yes, sir, thank you. Just wondering, what does that do with the allotted hotel rooms that are left in that bank? Is that eliminate them all now, or?
And it's a living, breathing document, but out of the 1385 units that were early in the 2000s, put into that bucket, after this per se, if approved, there would be about 19 units in that bucket.
So 19 that are left unallocated.
Correct.
Then others have been
You know, and
allocated.
as
Construction
involved,
starts.
you know, there are potential units that, like these units came from that just recently expired.
Yeah. Okay. Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Move to agenda item 9.5.
Authorize a purchase order to Material Handling Systems, Inc. for overhead crane inspections, certifications, purchase, and repairs.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Wayne LaFleur, Public Utilities and Construction Maintenance Manager. I am requesting your approval to authorize a purchase order to Material Handling Systems Incorporated for overhead crane inspections, certifications, maintenance, and repair. This will piggyback off a Hillsborough County contract ITB 25-00130, and a total not to exceed amount of $286,550 through August 31st, 2029. These services are needed to keep overhead cranes and hoisting equipment at our water and wastewater facilities safe, compliant, and reliable. The contract includes annual inspections, safety certifications, routine maintenance, and as-needed repairs, which helps reduce equipment failures, downtimes, and safety risks. This action supports our strategic priorities of high-performing government by helping maintain critical infrastructure, improving operational reliability, and supporting safe working conditions for our staff. I'm happy to respond to any questions.
Any questions on this? Now do we have consent? We have consent on 9.1.
Thank you.
9.2.
Authorize an increase to the purchase order with Roland Inc. for the 2023 Sewer Point Repair and Improvements Group C, and approve an agreement with CSX for railroad protective liability and license fees.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, Mark President, Public Utilities Director. Today I'm requesting authorization to increase the PO with Roland Incorporated by $11,457,021.66 for the sewer point repair and improvements Group C contract, and for approval of infrastructure agreement with CSX with a fee not to exceed $2,005. This request is necessary to immediately relocate and replace conflicting potable water, reclaimed water, and sanitary sewer infrastructure along the Drew Street corridor to meet FDOT's September 17, 2026 construction deadline. The company agreement with CSX addresses a critical aging water main within their easement that sits at a shallow depth and must be constructed safely to withstand the impending roadway improvements. This action directly furthers our strategic priority, high-performing government by systematically managing and maintaining vital public infrastructure. Happy to respond to any questions that you may have.
Any questions on this? If not, do we have consent? We have consent on 9.2. Thank you. Agenda item 10.1.
Approve certificate of city clerk regarding a citizen initiative petition requiring federal approval for dedication of public right of way in downtown. Council, staff today is seeking any information, additional information that you may want, or any questions you may have for the discussion on Thursday.
So there will be discussion on Thursday.
Yes.
We're pushing it on.
Yes, it's It's needed, professional. Anybody have anything else to?
Well, it was just a discussion today, the vote's Thursday.
Through supplemental retainer agreement with Wolf Law Group in regards to Bay Esplanade litigation.
Council, this is a city attorney item
Okay.
The city's hired Brian Wolf. He's been hired by the city in the past. He also frequently represents us in Canada and also in Africa. Any questions?
Amend Council Rule 6 to temporarily restore public comment regarding matters not on the agenda for an additional 3-month period.
Council, this is another city attorney item. If I may have background, back in 2025, citizens who heard on that was not coming temporary extension for about a year. In February, the former city attorney brought forth the temporary restore citizens who heard on the outcome of the agenda. It was approved by the council, and there was a sunset provision to where it was in May. It ended, I believe, May 8th or May 9th. What this resolution does is it just extends the sunset provision. The rule itself is going to be the same. So as it relates to the resolution, really, what
Do you have any idea why they would not talk? To me, it's a good thing. That's my first thought, is that they can just go straight to vote and no one's gonna show their cards. And we might get 3 affirmatives. That's the thought. No arguments, no debates, they can blow it up after the vote or whatever. Colby, any insight on?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? Why they wouldn't talk about it?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is like discussion time.
I can guess that
Okay.
they're scared of something. They don't want you guys talking anymore. You're gonna give us more leeway on Thursday. We have been saying that we're looking forward to Ryan's material that he's gonna give us.
They're more robust than doctor is.
Yes, yeah, and everybody left. We were the only
Yeah.
people in there.
Boom.
Nobody is sitting there. Nobody people that came. Unbelievable.
It's obvious what the people want too.
Yeah.
They know what's gonna happen if we talk about it.
I just stared him down a little longer before I
Well,
walked out.
Yeah,
That was
they,
a shame.
yeah, Kelly, any insight on this? Feel free to come in, yo.
Sure, I mean, our city clerk in writing
How you
said
doing?
that we discussed it. She's a liar. And
No.
that there would be public comment and a vote Thursday. So our city clerk isn't even here. So she wouldn't even have been available to answer our council's questions on process or anything. So this is so wrong.
We specifically asked if there would be discussion on this today, and she said yes.
What my thought is, it's good that we all got up and walked out.
Yes, yes, yes.
We can promise you there are gonna be more people who service it.
Yes.
So we will have an opportunity to share our opinions, to move forward with the vote.
Yeah.
What time is it again?
Six. On Thursday.
Perfect.
Do you have any idea where we are on the agenda? I found someone's talking, we went through, and then it was a
Yeah.
minute. It took a
Yeah.
minute to read that.
What do you think?
Yeah. I was actually late today and I was worried that I missed it.
I've been here since morning and I'm hungry right now. You know, I was just gonna make a point, and I didn't realize this. City clerk has been here for 23 years. 23 years. And she's not voted on, I don't even know how to select one.
Very excited.
All right, well, here, I'll just share with you guys in closing here. I have hope. I have hope that Lena will be courageous. I don't think she won't be the first to vote. But if Menino votes yes to go and put it on the ballot, which is what we're asking, I'm pretty confident Nina would say yes as well. And then Bruce, of course, would say yes. So there's our three. So if you're a praying person, you need your prayers at Menino. That's it. I mean, he's the swing vote. I also know that we've got legal representation, so in the event that they say no, that's just the start of a lawsuit. So like that night, we file a lawsuit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you guys already did what y'all needed to do with the signatures, right?
Sorry?
The signatures, I mean, that was enough supposedly, right?
Well, it's tough because, you know, where's her accountability for counting? She's the only one that did it. When we do our own internal audits, you know, when we got the signatures and we FOIA'd the ones that she threw out, we're like, she's wrong on a bunch of these.
Nobody fact checks her?
Yeah, no one's fact checked her, so that's the thing.
Scary.
That's-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
So-
wow, not even just one other person, that's,
yeah.
yeah, no, that doesn't seem right.
So just know that your team is one step at a time, right? That's all we can do, is just one step at a time.
Yeah.
Now we have this information, they are anti-transparency.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
Anti-transparency, you're not gonna give us your thoughts.
9,000 citizens care.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have that presentation for the guy as some logo or whatever. Oh, find it, what was it, downtown, find.
Yeah.
Find what
You're
downtown?
trying to call downtown.
Just look with a straight face and take all this,
Right.
like it's fact.
Yes. So, thank you, Ms. Barbara, for your continued leadership, for inspiring us, and, guys, be here on Thursday.
Yep.
And pray for Menino, I'm trying to get anything else, just know we've got a legal team.
The hour or something,
Six to nine.
Okay, well, what, yes, ma'am.
We can hear this.
Okay, everybody, I'm the teacher now. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that.
So that was insane.
Oh, wow.
But the question is probably naive, because I'm not.
It's all right.
What gave that woman the right to throw out six?
That is a good question. Well,
It's a great question.
here's the real question. If our former attorney, Mark Bolas, was here, he would be instructing her which ones to throw out and which ones not. And we knew that he looked at our cured mistake, cured means corrected mistake. One of our petition circulators or petition members, committee members, was not registered as a voter. And so apparently that's like a law. So
Well,
when,
it's actually not.
it's not a law, but it's like an interpretation of the
She
code.
took it upon herself to interpret a certain way, which is actually outside of her.
Yeah.
We're starving.
So
Yeah.
a city attorney that we had before would have corrected that, and we don't, this is
Well-
all of the things that will legally be challenged.
So anyways, so our circulator, the very next day, got registered as a voter. I mean, she's a resident, I mean, she thought she was a registered voter, but it was just a mistake. So these are curable mistakes, we got lots of precedent, that is what the attorneys call case law. That says, oh yeah, you should absolutely appreciate their due diligence, good faith correction. Well, we have a new city attorney that's basically advising her to throw all those out. I don't think the clerk makes her own decisions.
We don't know, there's no transparency, so we don't know, and when we ask questions, they just say.
Well, I just know when we did contact the clerk, she says, I'm consulting legal, and then she comes back with her answer. So that tells me she's just doing what the current.
Yeah, it's right, it's in writing.
Yeah. And there's a reason why Margolis is gone.
Oh, wow.
And then Margolis is gone.
They're in Denmark. They can't even, they don't even know. It was
11
Those are
days
Denmark
after,
birds.
What?
David Albritton went behind everyone's back and
Asked
just
who's my opinion.
dismissed our city attorney's 30-page memorandum and instead wanted the advice of the attorney general. It was quite a slap in the face to our city attorney. He didn't say that's why he left, but the timing suggests that he thought, all right.
Attorneys have egos, and they get angry and upset when their own staff, or their own council members that they serve, are not, their advice is not sufficient.
I think you saw particular council members were never going to accept a certain opinion and it didn't align with the entity downtown.
Well
And
said.
Margolis was willing to be fair and
That
neutral.
deserves a kiss. I want to kiss you. She's my wife, just in case.
So do we, the realtors?
Oh, we do, yeah, he's on the, kind of on the right side. Yeah, he was, I think, number 2 for, Margolis, right, he was the runner-up. But he's not behaving or making decisions in the same spirit of Margolis. We really like his talent. He knew his talent and he knew it wasn't worth wasting on this psychotic relationship between the city and dystopian, yeah. It should be called the city, S-C-I-T-Y.
Do that branding.
Yeah.
That is actually.
Yes.
If they think, if they were still talking and they're like, oh, we're gonna vote against all these guys and whatever, because that's the way we get the egos in the theater and all that kind of stuff. Is that maybe what the city thinks? Because they're gonna rip all that, the egos and all that big, crap that's on Facebook away if we get.
But, you know, it's.
You know, the Mark Butler ones, they're gonna do anything to try to get him out.
I think they should be back.
All right, let's go.
West Scientology doesn't
This is me.
factor in the city.
Bye. Oh, hey, how are you? I didn't even, I'm not even noticing. I'm on this thing all day. I've been a 3-hour trance on this. Sorry, Vicky. I'm just like, huh? Yeah. Whoosh. All right, everybody. That was 3 hours, and they waited till the end just to ignore it. We should have known. We should have known. I was looking around like, how the hell? That was really, really bad. But they can't, you know what's going to happen? That's not a good sign. Let me put it like that. On Thursday, that's not a good sign. On Thursday, I expect they did that so they don't have to tell anyone how they got there, which was Paola City. Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Shame on them.
Okay, thank you for hanging out, troops. Appreciate you very, very much. And we will see you soon. Yeah, time to get something to eat. All right, everybody, take care. Oh, that's Tom Cruise's place. Let's see if he's looking over at us from the balcony.
Hey, Tommy, dickhead.
Hey, Tom.
Clear sky burger.
Douche. All right. Let's go get some burgers.
This burger was so good. Okay, I got home. I made like 6 videos.
Yeah,
you did. Already on my YouTube. Yeah. I got home, put my stuff down, put the box on top of my stuff on the couch. Went, let the dog out. Went, poured a cup of lemonade. Looked at something to look on my phone, and I hear.
Hey.
And I look up, and he is grinning, just licking the box. And he almost got a good southern ass whooping.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yeah, those are different.
Poor doggy. He couldn't help it. He had to get some burger. Yummy yums. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate you. And we will see you soon. That is the sound joint where they have all the concerts that they were talking about right there. But yeah, a business card should take care of all the problems in downtown, right, Vicky? New business cards.
I want to, no. I did this for Aaron when I was down there
What?
a couple weeks ago. Because I don't do on my phone,
Oh.
I don't do financial stuff, you know? I
Oh
don't
my
do-
gosh.
So that's,
Thank
you all, buy you.
That's so
Cheryl
nice.
a drink.
Thank
Well,
you.
Just remember,
That's so
I don't,
nice.
I don't do financial, you know,
I
I
got
don't
you.
have money stuff on my phone.
I got you.
And I watch you through my phone.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you. You drive safe. Okay. Yes, and that's where they can't ignore us. We'll try this again on Thursday, everybody. All right, take great care of yourselves. We will see you soon. Until next time.